part of their push for a $15 an hour minimum wage. A funeral is planned for Saturday for the grandson of a Chicago congressman shot dead after an argument over basketball shoes. U.S. Representative Danny Davis says 15-year-old Javon Wilson's funeral will be Saturday at Cary AME Church on Chicago's South Side. One person recovering following a gas explosion at a church building in Hammond. Officials say the incident happened last night inside a property on Wilcox Street owned by the Bethel Congregational Church. And a man faces charges over his outburst during a Saturday showing of Hamilton. He says he was provoked. We get details from AM 560's David Stewart.
Witnesses say John Palmer reacted to a song in the hit musical by shouting about Donald Trump's election victory and insulting members of the audience who cheered the song. Palmer was hauled away and charged, but his attorney Jonathan Feldman says he was reacting to a hostile environment created when the New York Hamilton cast directed a message at Vice President-elect Mike Pence on Friday.
The only responsible party to create such an environment might very well have been the cast and production of Hamilton itself.
Feldman denied that his client was drunk during his rant. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Chicago sports, Edmonton blanked the Blackhawks 5-0. College hoops, Winthrop upsets the Fighting Illini in overtime, 84-80. Northwestern a win over Texas. TCU topped Illinois State. Linebacker Jarrell Freeman became the second Bears player suspended for violating the league's performance-enhancing drug policy in 2 weeks. And Chicago-based USA Soccer says Jurgen Klinsmann is out as coach of the U.S. national soccer team. The news service of Firestone Complete Auto Care only on Black Friday until 10 a.m. Come into Firestone Complete Auto Care for their early bird special. Get a free tire installation package with a 4-tire purchase. Go to driveafirestone.com for more details. Whatever you drive a Firestone. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You know what? I want to tell you something, America.
The Joe Walsh Show.
We ask our cops to do an ugly, impossible job. And way too many of us hate on them every day. I'll tell you what, America, you are going to wake up, so help me God, America, you are going to wake up one day without police officers in this country. And you will deserve it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Joel Weinberger, owner of Continental Audi of Naperville. An exceptional purchase experience is only the beginning at Continental Audi. Your ownership journey continues with VIP loyalty rewards, concierge service, and complimentary washes, just to name a few. Every day, we provide more than just a great deal on every new Audi. Going on now, during the Season of Audi sales event, we will make your first payment, plus you may qualify for $500 to $5,000 in bonus cash. Continental Audi has over 200 new Audi vehicles to choose from, including the Audi A3, A4, A5, and A6 sedans, and the Audi Q3, Q5, and Q7 sport utilities. Audi is one of the best performance vehicles on the road. Drive an Audi and feel the difference of Quattro all-wheel drive. Drive a Continental Audi and you'll experience the difference a dealership can make. Come in today during the Season of Audi sales event and Continental will make your first payment. Continental Audi of Naperville at ContinentalAudi.com. Up to $1,500 on select models must qualify. See dealer for full details.
Have you put off seeing the dentist because you can't afford to go? Are big dental bills taking a big toll on your wallet? Would you like to have dental insurance but think it's too expensive? If you answered yes to any of these questions, call Physicians Mutual Insurance Company for a free information kit. See how you can help protect your teeth and your wallet for less than $1 a day. 1-800-900-9385. This is real dental insurance that can help cover over 350 procedures, all the ones you're most likely to need. Everything from cleanings and fillings to crowns and dentures. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. You can see any dentist you choose, and you'll never pay a deductible. Call in the next 10 minutes, and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-900-9385. That's 1-800-900-9385. 1-800-900-9385.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. TLC Laser Eye Centers is now offering great prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved all-laser LASIK technology for less than what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-300-3992. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra $400 off your all-laser LASIK procedure. That's $200 off per eye. We've already performed over 2 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve for less than what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-300-3992. 1-800-300-3992.
The real estate market can be tricky to navigate. The only edge to help you get ahead is knowledge and experience. And Real Estate Revealed is that edge. Heard Sunday mornings at 8 and hosted by Randy Barcella. Real Estate Revealed uncovers truths about the real estate market with an entire team of experts. Their real estate power allows them to present their experiences to benefit you before your next transaction. Real Estate Revealed, Sunday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer. Dennis Prager believes we were on the verge of disaster.
The shellacking has just been awesome. It is a rejection. I don't say it's permanent. The country was at a precipice. Had she won, I would not have this smile on my face. It would have been perhaps irreparable, the damage that the left has done, as it does everywhere. Look at Western Europe.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560, The Answer.
Let's get an update on the roads this morning in our AM 560 traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Mike. On the outbound Kennedy, traffic is stop and go Harlem to Cumberland, where overnight construction is now clearing. It's 23 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Northbound I-55, heavy approaching 53, where overnight work is gone. The ramp from the inbound Stevenson to the inbound Rhine is jammed due to construction. Winnetka Sheridan Road remains closed between Sherry and Hawthorne after an overnight fire. And in Dalton, firefighters have put out a blaze near 138th and Cottage Grove. Traffic also a service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. Only on Black Friday until 10 a.m. Come into Firestone Complete Auto Care for their early bird special. Get a free tire installation package with a 4-tire purchase. Go to driveafirestone.com for more details. Whatever you drive a Firestone. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here is our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Cloudy today, high 45. Periods of rain tonight, low 34. Patchy fog with on and off rain and drizzle tomorrow, high 45. In the evening, shower and spots, otherwise low clouds and fog tomorrow night with a low 35. Thanksgiving Day will be cloudy with a high 46. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
32 degrees officially at O'Hare, 35 along the lakefront, 32 at Midway. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Donald Trump gave a little video update of the transition and his first 100-day priorities across a range of policy areas.
Yeah.
He had this to say, first laying out something I suggested he do.
What's that, Dan?
Lay out your core governing principle. Now, this isn't necessarily what I would call a core governing principle, but I at least like the notion that he's framing the choices he makes based on some overriding principles so that you have some sense of where he's going and why he's going there. And this is what he says his core governing principle is. You'll be familiar with it.
My agenda will be based on a simple core principle, putting America first. Whether it's producing steel, building cars, or curing disease, I want the next generation of production and innovation to happen right here on our great homeland, America, creating wealth and jobs for American workers.
So that is direction, America first, which is what he said during the campaign. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Other principles you would like articulated that would inform the policy choices Trump and the Republicans in Congress make in the coming 4 years. Take your calls and texts on that. So that's the overriding principle, America first.
Mm-hmm.
And then he offers a few executive actions or few topic areas in which he is going to take executive action kind of on day one, in the proverbial sense of that phrase, on trade, on energy, on regulation, on national security, on immigration, and on ethics. He lays it all out fairly succinctly in a quick 60 seconds or so.
On trade, I am going to issue our notification of intent to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a potential disaster for our country. Instead, we will negotiate fair bilateral trade deals that bring jobs and industry back onto American shores. On energy, I will cancel job-killing restrictions on the production of American energy, including shale energy and clean coal, creating many millions of high-paying jobs. That's what we want. That's what we've been waiting for. On regulation, I will formulate a rule which says that for every one new regulation, 2 old regulations must be eliminated. So important. On national security, I will ask the Department of Defense and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to develop a comprehensive plan to protect America's vital infrastructure from cyber attacks and all other form of attacks. On immigration, I will direct the Department of Labor to investigate all abuses of visa programs that undercut the American worker. On ethics reform, as part of our plan to drain the swamp, we will impose a 5-year ban on executive officials becoming lobbyists after they leave the administration, and a lifetime ban on executive officials lobbying on behalf of a foreign government.
So there you have it.
Okay, I'm going to go now.
That's, a quick little...
You just play that over and over again.
Well, a quick little 2.5-minute update on where things stand and what he plans to do. I mean, I like the idea that he is at least communicating where he's going to go. Take the American people with you.
Yeah, no. Reporters weren't happy with that. They thought they were going to have a press conference where he was going to outline his first 100 days in office. Instead, it was in the Trump Tower, and he broadcasted over what he loves to do best, social media, which is fine. But, I mean, these are all ideas that don't require congressional approval. That's why Obamacare is not in there, building the wall, because don't they need congressional approval to build that big wall?
I mean, we've discussed before, much of the funding for the construction of the wall has previously been allocated, has previously been authorized. So much of it he could do just by expediting what has already been initiated. But some of this, yes, I mean, as he said, a lot of this is executive action. So one of the things he can do, for example, when it comes to energy policy, is reverse the climate change gambits of the Obama administration. And that specifically means going after the so-called Clean Power Plan, which is a set of regulations that were developed by EPA to, reduce carbon emissions from electricity generation and the like, in addition to, of course, withdrawing from the Paris Climate Agreement, which commits, even though it's voluntary, commits to a certain reduction schedule. Interestingly, in terms of the people he's surrounding himself with, we'll get to all the Nazis in a second, but Myron Ebell of the Competitive Enterprise Institute is heading his EPA transition team, his being Trump's. And this is somebody who believes in, very much like Steve Moore, one of his economic policy advisors we talk to weekly, believes in energy as central to American growth rebounding, getting from the anemic growth we've experienced to 3% and 4% GDP growth per annum and creating jobs along the way. So to make energy central and to really go after the big government gambits under the guise of saving the planet is going to be key for the initial steps of a Trump administration in this area. And it's important to note who he has in this space with some of these
below the fold regulatory agencies that have huge economic impact, like EPA, and the appointment of Myra Nabel from Competitive Enterprise is a pretty good signal. But on a related note, I just want to point out Carl Icahn has an interesting op-ed in the Wall Street Journal today. Of course, again, another confidant of Trump's, billionaire investor, early supporter of Donald Trump, Carl Icahn. And he writes about the EPA crushing merchant refiners, and if they crash, so will the economy. In his piece, he said the problem is that the EPA, in implementing the renewable fuel standard, made the enormous mistake of regulating the wrong party. The obligation to blend biofuels was put on petroleum refiners and importers. This has been catastrophic for small and mid-sized refiners, the merchant refiners, most of whom cannot blend. The majority of fuel they produce goes into a common carrier pipeline and is sold to blenders downstream. So the blenders earn windfall profits that the merchant refiners are forced to buy to comply with the law. They're windfall profits from the renewable fuels they're forced to buy to comply with the law downstream. So it's an interesting, maybe it's a bit esoteric, but this is a real thing. It has real economic impact, and this is deep thinking going on with respect to energy policy, which is a good signal.
Well, how soon till the coal miners can get back to work?
Well, it's not a light switch, pun intended, but I mean, the idea is if you
clean coal energy,
go
back to the mine,
and you see coal, like for example in southern Illinois here, we have the inert energy in our coal deposits in southern Illinois, tantamount to Saudi Arabia's oil reserves. That's how much potential energy is there. So yeah, this seems like it's going to be virtually a 180 from the last 8 years to the Trump administration in terms of their mind's eye with respect to energy independence. And that's a really positive development. Now, some of the other things, in terms of what he said in his video yesterday, the only really thing I would quibble with is not even the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership specifically, but his general opposition is too strong, but his general view on free trade, fair trade, and using those words as synonyms, and they're not. His posture towards trade, which we've discussed a lot, he's not really a free trader. At least that's not what he's articulating. So I depart company with him on that. But in terms of the other things that he outlined quickly, what he plans to do with the pen on energy and regulation, on security, national security, and immigration, on ethics, there's not a lot to argue with. That all sounds
nothing surprising,
right in his lane, and very kind of standard, small C conservative thinking, which is good, very reasonable. I don't see any problem with that. And we'll get to his excoriating of the D.C. press corps, which was the fun part of yesterday. Right after this,
it's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Everybody needed a little booster seat. George Stephanopoulos, Wolf Blitzer, all of them when they met with Donald Trump yesterday. But first, your forecast, 30 degrees right now, going up to a high of 45 degrees. We'll have considerable cloudiness. If you live in the western suburbs, you may see some rain. And then tonight, periods of rain. And tomorrow, patchy fog with on and off again rain and drizzle, a high of 45. It is one of the busiest travel days is tomorrow, so good luck with that. All right, let's go into the traffic center. There is a big backup on the inbound Kennedy due to the construction work has been picked up. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. And the good news is, yes, it has. The Kennedy now is great. Sorry about your luck if you were there earlier. There were delays in both directions. Outbound, too, pretty heavy around Cumberland, but now it's all gone. And just like that, the delays are gone, too. It's 20 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown, and the express lanes are open inbound. Right now, things look okay at O'Hare. No delays on 190, and most flights are moving as scheduled. Eden's fine. Eisenhower looking good. Stevenson inbound. The ramp to the inbound Ryan is really jammed due to ongoing construction. Ryan has a 2-minute delay coming into downtown. Bishop Ford a 3-minute delay from 111th to the Rhine. And in Winnetka, still the closure of Sheridan Road and Cherry and Hawthorne after an early morning fire. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
I know a perfect holiday gift. Did you guess it? Yep, it's MyPillow, and MyPillow will extend the money-back guarantee through March. Plus, if you buy one premium MyPillow, you still get the second one and 2 additional Go Anywhere MyPillows for free. So you're actually getting 2 premium and 2 go anywhere MyPillows for the price of 1 with an extended money-back guarantee. It is the best offer ever. You know, the National Sleep Foundation made MyPillow their official pillow. It's washable to remove germs that cause allergies, acne, and asthma. And you'll sleep better. I know I do. So visit MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special tab, and use the promo code Amy. You'll get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 go anywhere pillows for the price of 1, plus the extended money-back guarantee through March for your holiday gifts. Or call 800-489-0201. Mention the radio listener special and be sure to use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com or 800-489-0201.
AM 560, The Answer.
I still don't know why he did it, Dan. Why would Donald Trump meet with top executives from CNN, from NBC, from CBS, from Fox News? I mean, last night he met with Jeff Zucker from CNN and Wolf Blitzer, the little guy. ABC's George Stephanopoulos, little guy, and David Muir, and Chuck Todd, and Charlie Rose from CBS, and Bill Shine from Fox News.
Yeah.
And then people ask, no one was supposed to discuss the meeting. You know, one thing about Fight Club is you don't discuss Fight Club. But, of course, things were leaked. And they said it was like a F-bling firing squad. Trump started with Jeff Zucker and said, I hate your network. Everyone at CNN is a liar, and you should be ashamed. So did any other president that you know of meet with the press in a closed-door meeting just to rail on the press?
I don't know. I don't know, but I don't care. I love it.
You love it?
This is fantastic.
Really?
This is exactly what he should do to set the tone that this isn't about access and this wasn't all just play, and now we're going to pretend that nothing happened, and we're just going to get on with, me playing my role and you playing your role and pantomiming equal treatment. No, I'm going to have a little bit of a reckoning. I'm going to make the network execs do a walk of atonement, as it were, because winter is coming. Winter is here for media elites in D.C. I love this. Trump also was reported, this from the New York Post. Trump didn't say NBC reporter Katie Tur by name, but he talked about an NBC female correspondent who got it wrong, and then he referred to a horrible network correspondent who cried when Hillary lost, who hosted a debate, which, of course, was Martha Raddatz, who was in the room. And good for him, Martha Raddatz crying when Hillary lost. That certainly speaks to one's even-handedness.
Crying for the troops who don't feel safe under a Trump presidency.
Whatever.
That was the context of her tears.
I reject that. I reject that, and I reject any defense of media so invested in a political candidate, just like they were here when the Chicago Press Corps was weeping as President Obama took the stage at Grand Park in 2008.
I was in the media pit, and I had never seen anything like. I saw 4 reporters just and then hugging each other. I can't believe it happened.
Yeah, it's so great. And now, so it's tears of joy, and now it's tears of sadness from the same group. And I have zero sympathy. You will not get tears or empathy here. Good for Donald Trump for taking them to the woodshed and telling them exactly who they are and not letting them get away with the kind of coverage they provided during this campaign. Well, good for him.
The source said that he also complained about the photos of himself that NBC used that he found unflattering. That's a little catty. But they also said the meeting started with a typical Trump complaint about the dishonest media and that he specifically signaled out CNN and NBC as, quote unquote, the worst.
Yeah. So what's the problem with that? Well, why should they get a pass? What is he supposed to do? Genuflect before the media execs? Say, oh, thank you for coming, and I want to have a constructive and It
sounds to me like he's trying to control them. I hear it. Trump turned NBC News president Deborah Turnus at one point and said that the network ran a picture of him, not a nice picture of him, instead choosing the picture of him as he made a face with a double chin.
What does that have to do with control?
Because he doesn't want bad picture, and nobody wants a bad picture of themselves posted up anywhere. But he's a little catty, I think, and he can't control what pictures that the networks use of him.
So what does that have to do with control?
It has everything to do with control. She then replied to him that they had a very nice picture of him up on their website at the moment.
What does that have to do with control?
He's trying to control the media about the images that they. He's trying to control the media about the images that they use of him, that they only use flattering images of him and not images of him with a double chin.
Okay. Let me try this one more time. I want my biopic from my
Facebook
website.
page or website. Yes.
Provide that. I want you to use this pic and not that pic. How is that trying to control? All of this Orwellian talk that this is a takeover. He's trying to control. He is offering a reckoning. He is offering his opinion of the coverage. You're so hep to be on the inside. You're so access-driven, DC Press Corps. Well, come on into the lion's den. You think you're here for the usual pleasantries and pieties?
A lot of F-bombs.
Well, that's how it was described. It wasn't said that he used profanity. The point is that's not the point. The point is this hyperventilating that any criticism is an effort to somehow diminish the grand independence of the Fourth Estate is silliness. It's bull jive.
What's bull jive is that whoever complies to his request will get the first interview. They'll have full access. They'll get to go when they move from Pennsylvania, from Fifth Avenue to Pennsylvania Avenue. It's a game that you play. And so whoever's compliant, whoever says, yes, we'll never do that, we'll never use a bad, unflattering shot of you again, then he will reward them. That's what I don't like about this. Just leave it. They should be two separate entities.
And who does that speak poorly of?
I think it speaks poorly of Donald Trump. I mean, he's tweeting about Saturday Night Live. Now he's worried about photos that NBC are using of him.
All right,
I mean, he's the president.
Excuse
he's got to
me.
grow up at some point in time.
And so does the media. And so work your logic. I am willing to sell my soul for access, and the buyer of my soul is the problem, not the seller. Is that right?
I think they're both a little to blame.
Yeah, right.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The following is an incredible, life-changing free offer for anyone with hearing problems who wants to start hearing everything more clearly again. We're now offering free in-home trials of a revolutionary hearing breakthrough called Listen Clear to anyone who calls this special toll-free number now. 1-800-900-5724. Call in the next 10 minutes and you'll also qualify for free shipping and free batteries for life. Listen Clear is precisely designed by top audio engineers. It adjusts to let you find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And Listen Clear is so invisible, people may not even know you're wearing it. And it's so lightweight, you may even forget you're wearing it too. Don't miss this special life-changing opportunity to hear everything more clearly again for free with a 100% free in-home trial, free shipping, and even free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-900-5724. That's 1-800-900-5724. 1-800-900-5724.
AM 560, The Answer.
Today, Donald Trump's meeting with the New York Times. That should be very interesting.
Yeah, see if how long their foray into honest reporting lasts. I suspect not too long.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Mike Scott has the history between the press and the presidents. But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
34 degrees. We have some clouds this morning, and police in Chattanooga, Tennessee say the driver of a school bus is under arrest after a deadly crash Monday afternoon.
Jonathan E. Walker is being charged with 5 counts of vehicular homicide, reckless endangerment, and reckless driving. To begin with, there may be more charges added as this proceeds to the grand jury here in Hamilton County.
Fred Fletcher, the chief, confirming 6 children were killed after that bus was speeding down a roadway and then struck a tree, leaving Woodmore Elementary School near Chattanooga. Boko Haram militants this morning are reported to be on a rampage in northeastern Nigeria. Local leaders say fighters are overrunning villages near the large town of Chibok, forcing hundreds of people to flee as they loot and burn the area. This is where nearly 300 schoolgirls were kidnapped in 2014. A Missouri police officer shot during an altercation with a suspect recovering at home. The 33-year-old officer was shot in the hand during a traffic stop in Gladstone Sunday night. One person injured after a package exploded in Center City, Philadelphia overnight. A 62-year-old victim has been hospitalized. President-elect Donald Trump outlining plans for his first 100 days in the White House through a video posted online on Monday.
As part of this plan, I've asked my transition team to develop a list of executive actions we can take on day one to restore our laws and bring back our jobs. It's about time.
On his first day in office, Trump says he'll withdraw the U.S. from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Oklahoma Governor Mary Fallin is interested in helping President-elect Trump. Fallin met with the president-elect in New York yesterday as being considered as a possible candidate for Secretary of the Interior. Illinois trying to open up job opportunities for those with criminal records by making changes to paperwork and providing better access to professional licenses. 3 Chicago men face first-degree murder charges in the shooting death of a witness in a criminal case in front of his home in Brookfield earlier this year. And 1 person is recovering following a gas explosion at a church building in Hammond, Indiana. Edmonton blanked the Blackhawks 5-0. College hoops, Winthrop upsets the Fighting Illini. Northwestern was a winner, and TCU beat Illinois State. The news service of Target. It's the most wonderful time for a deal at Target's 10 days of deals. Get huge savings on kitchen items, electronics and entertainment, beauty and apparel. Go to Target/10 days or in-store for a new deal every day. Some restrictions apply. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
As a new president prepares to take office, questions swirl about the future of this administration.
Republicans on Capitol Hill have been watching this very closely because...
What message is Trump sending to the young girl?
And the future of the nation.
We're confident about the transition, and we're very, very excited about getting to work for the American people.
Get answers to those questions here.
We should be a little careful about casually throwing around the term anti-Semitic.
We spend all of our time defending ourselves.
This is AM 560, The Answer.
If you're looking to relieve symptoms or support your well-being, head to Walgreens for brands you need like Advil, Robitussin, Emergency, and Nexium 24-Hour and take your health in your own hands. It's your wellness. Own it.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've had 10 major surgeries, including 3 brain surgeries. And I have extreme rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and fibromyalgia. And I wanted to let him know that his Balance of Nature have helped boost my immune system so much because I'm on injectable medications for the rheumatoid, and they bring down your immune system. Since I've been taking Balance of Nature, I haven't gotten a cold, nothing. It really helped me tremendously.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
5:36. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens is looking good right now. Inbound Kennedy at Nagel, there's a stall reported in the right lane. Otherwise, the Kennedy has cleared up after overnight roadwork delays. Inbound Eisenhower congested now Manheim to 25th. 30 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Southbound Fine at 29. Inbound Stevenson delays start at Harlem. 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The ramp to the inbound Ryan is jammed. Ryan, 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 19 minutes, 8094 to Ryan. I-57 a little slow approaching the merge. Traffic service at Subway. Purchase a $25 gift card from Subway restaurants this holiday season and receive a free 6-inch sub on your next visit. Limited time only. Additional charge for extras, including deluxe subs, plus applicable tax. Prices and participation may vary. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Considerable cloudiness today, high 45. Periods of rain, low 34. It's 32 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Innovative Networks, communication, technology, and reliability for Chicagoland business. Online at go4inet.com.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So we were talking about that media hammering yesterday at the hands of one President-elect Donald Trump. And we're talking about it in the break, and Mike Scott giving us a little bit of
tutorial
presidential history as it relates to relationships between the president and the D.C. press corps. Mike Scott.
Well, I've talked to journalism students about this several times, and the assumption is that journalists have always had access to the president. That's not the case. Actual access by the press to the president really only started under Theodore Roosevelt, who was the first president to have a press secretary. At that point, his press secretary was a newspaper editor who used the press as a PR vehicle. So especially with the National Parks Foundation and other things that came out of the Roosevelt administration, that was the idea. The idea is the press was a willing arm of the White House at that point, and William White, who was the press secretary, knew that he could use reporters at that point. But
just like Josh Earnest.
Well, you can say that was the paradigm that was set up. I'm going to use the White House press office as a dealer in information to inform what we want the public to hear. Now, Eisenhower was the first to allow his press conferences to be recorded. Otherwise, you had to quote the president directly before that. But this antagonism thing that's been going on between reporters, that dates back to Washington, who canceled his newspaper subscriptions because he was ticked off at how they treated him after he was elected president. This was the guy, of course, was the father of our country, savior of our time, but yet he was pilloried mercilessly for being just a country goof from Virginia.
Right. Well, that's the thing too. We forget, the political discourse has become so coarse, and politicians are being criticized. There's name calling going on. Oh heavens! Like this hasn't punctuated America's political history.
Yeah, it's not. It's not unusual. I mean, the way U.S. Grant was just ripped by the Chicago Tribune post-Civil War was, if you go back and look at the cartoons, they treated him with no mercy whatsoever. You go back to Madison, who wrote the First Amendment, right? He was just torn apart for his handling of the War of 1812.
Mm-hmm.
This guy wrote the First Amendment, so he started canceling access to interviews because of that. The guy who wrote the First Amendment.
Father of the Constitution.
Father of the Constitution.
Yeah.
Grover Cleveland.
You were friends with him, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah, we were friends with him.
Yeah.
Grover Cleveland denied access at all. In fact, took out the White House press room. Said, "Nah, I don't need you." And I had to look this up because this may be the quote of the day, and I got to find it because I was going to get it wrong until I looked it up. Sorry about that. It was McKinley, who met with patent attorney. Yeah, here it is, William McKinley, talking to journalists a couple of days after having spoken to a gathering of patent attorneys and experts. Said, "Riley, this is the second time this week," and this is the quote, "the second time this week I have been called upon to address a Congress of inventors," end quote.
And then he was subsequently assassinated by the press.
But I mean, even Donald Trump, so the press that's assigned to him for the next 4 years, possibly 8 years.
Right.
You know, when he went out last Sunday night and went out for dinner didn't tell the press, they were out of their minds. So this is not how this works.
Well, it is how it works. They did the same thing. They went out of their minds when President Obama took his daughters to the aquarium in Hawaii the first Christmas.
Right.
It was out of touch for 6 hours, 7 hours, and they flipped out.
The only difference is they didn't really report on it. They just flipped out.
They just flipped
with
out.
Trump, they actually report on flipping out.
Because I think it's the first time.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's not.
Well, so this is the whole thing, and that's great historical perspective on this
Yeah,
because
thanks, Mike.
we think history begins and ends with what we're experiencing in real time, and and so all of the oh my gosh, and Trump and how dare he, and no, you know what? Taking them to task, they're lucky he did it in a private session. He could have paraded them before the cameras and done it in public, thinking we're going to have a rapprochement with the press, and then he could have dropped the hammer and really embarrassed them on national television. That's what I would have done. That's what Laura Ingraham may do if she's his press secretary, speaking of press secretaries. But they're lucky it was a closed-door session, as far as I'm concerned. He has every right to articulate his position and prosecute his viewpoint, and if they can't stand up to it, then they can't stand up to him, and that says more about them than it does him. So what's the problem?
I just think it's a problem because it's, to me, I interpret this as him trying to dictate how they cover him, the images of him that they use and whatnot. And whoever complies will get more access than the other station because it's a competition.
So here's the deal. So if you are someone that is the subject of press reporting, then you are just supposed to take whatever you get without response. Without response. You're not allowed to respond.
You can respond, but you're not
good.
the president. The president has the most
power.
So
the president can't respond.
This is just unprecedented, I think, for him to gather all these people in a room.
Well, it's not unprecedented. You just heard from Mike Scott. It's not unprecedented. Grover Cleveland threw him out of the White House.
Right, but I don't know what he said to them before he threw him out of the White House. But Donald Trump needs them.
Difference?
I mean, he's going to scold them, but in reality is he needs them. And he's the ultimate reality TV show guru, and he knows how to play them. He played the press perfectly for 15 months by doing things outrageous to make news so that he didn't have to buy campaign ads.
Then perhaps he's continuing to play them brilliantly. And free country. That goes both directions. You get to express yourself in both directions, not one direction. The Fourth Estate is not the repository of freedom of speech. Right? So as an individual American, and Donald Trump, even as the President of the United States, he still counts as an individual American. He can express his viewpoint. And that's what he did.
Yeah, he kept saying, according to somebody from the Post, Trump kept saying, we're in a room of liars, the deceitful, dishonest media who got it all wrong.
And that's not just an opinion, that's a fact.
They did get it all wrong.
And they are liars. In addition to that, we also had some other interesting responses. The continuation of meetings that Donald Trump is having, not just for his cabinet or potential cabinet selections, but also kind of trusted advisors. Robert Johnson, who's the founder of Black Entertainment Television, very successful businessman.
Otherwise known as BET.
Right. He was invited to meet with Donald Trump, and apparently they've interacted over the years before, various events and so forth. He's known Donald Trump for a little while. Here's Robert Johnson on the invite and his response, and it's kind of important because one of the things the left is doing is saying, no one meet with him. No one participate because you don't want to normalize Trump. Yeah, we can't normalize this. We can't accept that he's the president of the United States. And by even deigning to have a conversation with him or offer your perspective, much less advice and counsel, you're normalizing Donald Trump. Here's what Bob Johnson said.
Friend calls a friend, and they say, Bob, President-elect Trump would like to meet with you to talk about how he can better reach out to the African-American community. And I said that's a positive sign, so I accepted the invitation. We had a great chat. I'd say the most important thing that came out of the meeting, he and I agreed that, if you recall during the election, he talked about what do African-Americans have to lose. And I said, President-elect Trump, the real question you should be asking is, what do African-Americans have to gain by your presidency? And he said, Bob, you're right. We should talk aspirational, and I'm willing to talk about things that you believe are important for African-Americans, and I want to have that dialogue with you. And that's what we talked about.
Imagine that, the founder of BET Television and a very successful African-American businessman having a constructive conversation with Donald Trump. Are you shocked? Is this groundbreaking stuff? I suspect it will be for the hysterics on the left that just want to offer the isms and the phobias in response to the invocation of Trump's name. Here's what Bob Johnson, who's actually sophisticated, actually knows something about these topics, and he mentioned in this interview on CNBC, they talked about everything from job creation to repatriation of corporate profits. Here's what Bob Johnson said.
So we were really focused on the business issues, and President-elect Trump is a business guy, and I think he's going to tilt towards finding the way to use fiscal policy and his own efforts, knowledge as a business guy, to move the economy forward for jobs and economic growth.
That's crazy, isn't it?
No,
it's crazy talk.
I'm scared. Can I go to a safe space?
Exactly. Bob Johnson. I mean, how do we understand Bob Johnson? Is this successful multi-millionaire? I don't know. Maybe he's a billionaire. I don't even know. But wildly successful African-American businessman. Is he being scammed by Donald Trump? Is he not smart enough to know the whatever nefarious game Donald Trump is making to playing to co-opt him.
It's funny.
Is Bob Johnson a racist?
No.
Is he a misogynist? Is he a homophobe? Is he an Islamophobe? How do we understand Bob Johnson? Someone from the left help me process this.
Well, my friend who's a millionaire who's friends with Bob Johnson, I've had dinner with Bob Johnson. I'm glad
You've had dinner with Bob Johnson?
Yeah. I used to hang out with fancy friends.
Did you talk about repatriation of corporate profits?
How did you know? I love that topic matter. No, but my friend who's a millionaire who wants to move to Monte Carlo is friends with Mr. Johnson. So I hope that he's listening to that and he may reconsider staying in the country and stop pouting like a baby. And I hate to say the word like a baby, but these liberals they can't stop crying. And I mean, they've written off family members. They've canceled Thanksgiving plans with family.
The liberals moving to Monte Carlo. Oh, yes. They've got. Well, imagine why, working men and women don't relate to bedwetting liberals who feel the need to move to Monte Carlo because their candidate didn't win the presidency.
With his 22 cars. But I mean, here's the thing. When we were growing up, Democrats were the working class, the union workers. Now I feel like those are Republicans because I don't know one Democrat that's not a millionaire. In my world that I live in, they all live in the big, McMansions. They all drive fancy cars and have full-time nannies and weekend nannies. And I don't know one Democrat that's not rich.
Yeah.
Because I think things have flipped.
Well, you have
honestly.
You have to live in your neighborhood, obviously. But that's what's going on. That's what's going on in big cities. It's the hollowing out. It's very rich left-wingers who are insulated from terrible public policy, and then people that are mainly reliant on transfer payments, and that we see that in Chicago. Chicago is a case study in it. Milwaukee to our north, another case study in it. They have and they're like locusts. So they move from the city to the North Shore. They move from the city to the near western suburbs, and they destroy everything in their wake. So if your friend moves to Monte Carlo, then there goes Monte Carlo.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of clouds today, and if you live in the western suburbs, it's going to be raining. High of 45, 30 degrees right now at O'Hare. Tonight, periods of rain, and for Wednesday, big travel day, we're going to have patchy fog in the morning and on and off rain throughout the day, a high of 45 degrees. Let's get those travel times. The Big Escape Wednesday. For Tuesday, here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, so far, not too bad, Amy. If you're going from the western suburbs into the city, you will find some delays on the inbound Eisenhower. Nothing out of the ordinary, though. It's about a 5-minute delay between Manheim and Harlem, the usual bottleneck there. The outbound side is clear. No delays to report on the Edens or the Kennedy right now. Northbound I-55 delays start around Veterans Parkway. The Stevenson is 40 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The ramp to the inbound Orion's really jammed. The Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 23 minutes, 80-94 to the Verge. I-57's lighter than normal. We have no delays yet on the tollways or in northwest Indiana. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
When you have sleep apnea, traveling can be a real drag because you have to drag your big, bulky home CPAP device with you everywhere you go. But not anymore. Now you can travel easily and sleep comfortably anywhere thanks to Transcend, the world's very first mini CPAP. And right now, if you're one of the first 100 callers, you can try Transcend risk-free for 10 restful nights. So call now, 1-800-600-3585. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. Transcend is so incredibly small and light, you can easily fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. But don't delay. To guarantee your 10-night in-home trial, you must be one of the first 100 callers to call minicpap.com now. 1-800-600-3585. Again, that's 1-800-600-3585.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, all right, let's take a couple of calls here. How about Bill and McHenry here in Chicago's Morning Answer?
Morning, Amy and Dan. The fourth estate that you just mentioned is in my opinion, the most powerful branch of the government. If they want to sit on a story that's really important to the population at large, they can not report it. In the fall of 2009, a bunch of us went to Washington for the 9/12 March. There were 2.1 million of us there, and nobody reported that story, to include Fox. So, this branch of government was wrong in this election. They mischaracterized it completely, and now they're groveling for their due attention, and it's entertaining to watch it.
Well, thanks for the call, Bill. I like the fact you call them a branch of government. They're obviously not, but they behave like they are. They're a branch of big government. They're advocates for big government as a monolith. And, of course, even though it's a competitive environment, you do have groupthink that sinks in. That's a good example, the 9/12 March you're talking about. Annually, the March for Life in D.C., that is barely covered by Fox sometimes, but barely covered generally. Any other march of hundreds of thousands of people, the Million Woman March that's planned for January, that gets hyped for months on end, before and after. But certain groups don't get so much attention because, again, the play for the Alinskyites, and many of them are in positions of authority in the media, make the majority feel like they are a part of an insular minority to keep them quiet, to keep them afraid to speak up. Kevin in Hickory Hills.
Morning.
Morning.
In the first 100 days, he didn't mention anything about the Supreme Court justice. I'm not sure what the process is because Obama has offered up a moderate liberal, but I was wondering, what do they have to interview him or put him through the process, or are they just allowed to disregard him and take Trump's assignment, or how does that work exactly?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Kevin. Well, he didn't mention it in his video yesterday because he can't do that by executive action. Right, that requires Senate confirmation. He was talking about things he can do in topic areas by executive order. With respect to Supreme Court nominee Merrick Garland, see ya.
Yeah, sorry, when Hillary lost, he lost too.
So, I presume as part of this transition, you're going to have this vetting process for the Supreme Court nominee he will ultimately select for Senate confirmation. And then, then it's going to be a fight. That is going to be the battle royale of the first 100 days is the Senate confirmation of whoever Donald Trump levels up to the Supreme Court. So that is forthcoming.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
All right, guys, huddle up. Coach's car battery died and he's running behind. And since I haven't been paying attention, I have no idea what plays we run or what most of your names are, for that matter. So what I'll do is I'm going to pop this antacid tablet. I'll fall down, I'll fake a heart attack, and then you guys act shocked and concerned and stuff. And hopefully that'll buy me enough time for the coach to get here. All right, team on three.
Make sure you'll be there. Get a car battery test today. Find a location at interstatebatteries.com. Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
An important message from Medicare.
I found a better deal on prescriptions.
I found a new plan with lower costs. It's Medicare Open Enrollment. Have you compared plans yet? Who knows what you might find? Check out your options at Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
You never know unless you go.
Medicare Open Enrollment, October 15th through December 7th. Brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, Christmas is almost here, and I have a fantastic idea for your favorite conservatives. Give them the beautiful gift of the Constitution and Declaration of Independence. We, the People Prince, along with our good friends from Uline, are offering listeners this amazing deal. For every Constitution and Declaration that you order, they will send you a second set 100% free as a gift. But here's the real kicker. For every purchase you make, We the People Prince will donate 2 Christmas wreaths to Wreaths Across America to honor the men and women who gave their lives for our freedom. These are amazing and beautiful full-size prints, just like the ones hanging in the Library of Congress, Independence Hall, and the National Archives. Log on to WeThePeoplePrince.com and help We the People Prince, along with Uline, place wreaths on fallen soldiers' graves. That's WeThePeoplePrince.com. Please make a difference to our heroes this Christmas.
O'Hare workers plan to strike November 29th. That story coming up. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. A late-night arrest in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The driver in a deadly school bus crash. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has the update live.
Dave, Jonthony Walker faces several charges, including vehicular homicide in the crash that killed at least 5 elementary school students. Chattanooga Police Chief Fred Fletcher says the focus is now on the victims.
We're making sure that we have all the resources the family, the schools, and the communities need to respond to this tragedy, this trauma, in a way that is appropriate for this grieving loss.
Many others were hurt. Hamilton County Schools in session today. Counselors are available for students and staff. The NTSB is sending a team to the crash site this morning to investigate, Dave.
Tony, an accused cop killer is telling San Antonio Police Detective Benjamin Marconi's family,
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Otis McCain says, for lashing out at someone who didn't deserve it, adding he was upset over child custody issues. McCain's accused of shooting him in the head Sunday while Marconi sat in his car writing a traffic ticket. That's at a vigil for a St. Louis police officer shot twice in the face while sitting in traffic Sunday night. He's now out of a hospital. The gunman was killed in a police shootout. President-elect Trump has detailed his first 100-day agenda in a video posted online. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
President-elect Donald Trump says the U.S. will quit the Trans-Pacific Partnership trade deal, a major priority of President Obama's. Mr. Trump also outlined his other legislative priorities.
I will cancel job-killing restrictions on the production of American energy, including shale energy and clean coal, creating many millions of high-paying jobs.
Mr. Trump did not mention repealing Obamacare or building a wall on the southern border with Mexico, 2 actions he said during the campaign he would do as soon as he assumed power. Dave?
And John, the president-elect has tweeted that he's just canceled a meeting with the New York Times scheduled for today. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Some clouds, 34 degrees. We have calm winds this morning. 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 3 Chicago men now face first-degree murder charges in the shooting death of a witness in a criminal case against one of those men. Michael Smith was shot to death January in front of his home in Brookfield. Authorities say 33-year-old Smith was a security guard at a Chicago nightclub when a fight broke out in March of 2015 involving 39-year-old Comfort Robinson. Robinson was charged with several felonies. Authorities say before Smith could testify in that case against Robinson, 25-year-old Jermaine Douglas followed Smith to his home and killed him. Police had a warrant for Douglas's arrest last week. That led to a chase and a crash at a major Southside intersection. In the wake of his grandson's shooting death on Friday, Chicago Congressman Danny Davis is calling for a state of emergency to try and end violence in the city of Chicago. AM 560's David Stewart has the latest on this developing story.
Davis's 15-year-old grandson, Javon Wilson, was shot in his home during an argument over a borrowed pair of sneakers. Davis says emergency declarations could mean gang intervention, after-school activities, job training, and economic development.
How do we do enough to change value systems so that every person in our society places a high value on human life?
Davis also plans legislation to curb the flow of guns to people who shouldn't have them. His grandson's funeral is Friday. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
A funeral is planned on the south side for the representative's 15-year-old grandson, Javon Wilson. A wake at 10 a.m., services at 11 a.m. on Saturday. And an elite Catholic college prep high school is taking legal action against the IHSA following a loss in their 7A semifinal football game over the weekend. Fenwick from Oak Park lost to Plainfield North 18-17 in overtime after the referees Saturday incorrectly awarded Plainfield an untimed extra down after the Friars quarterback was called for intentional grounding. Fenwick filed suit yesterday asking a judge to overturn results of the contest after the IHSA correctly reminded schools that their board does not hear appeals on the outcome of games. Case will be heard in Cook County Court tomorrow. Edmonton beat the Blackhawks 5-0. Winthrop upset the Fighting Illini 84-80 in overtime. Northwestern topped Texas. The news is service of the 89-cent pancake deal at Burger King. How is this even possible? Right now at Burger King, you can get 3 pancakes for 89 cents. 3 hot, fluffy, golden pancakes for just 89 cents. Unbelievable but true. 3 pancakes, 89 cents, only at Burger King, limited time only. Price and participation vary. 6:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.99%. APR, 4.77%. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. So lock in this ultra-low rate before it goes back up. Call 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
6:06, a check of the roads. In our AM 560 traffic center this morning, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Winnetka, Sheridan Road remains closed between Cherry and Hawthorne after an overnight fire. Kennedy inbound heavy onto the River Road toll to Cumberland. It's 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 20. The Edens is clear. Inbound Eisenhower delays start at Wolf Road. 43 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 30. Inbound Stevenson now 43 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound it's fine. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, much lighter than normal. Bishop Ford, though, delays start around Stony Island. 20 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Eastbound Adams, tollway heavy from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Traffic, service of ADT. ADT, the security leader for over 140 years. Trust ADT to protect your home, family, and all you care about. When you have ADT security, it's more than a sign in your yard. It's a line in the sand. Visit ADT.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
cloudy today, high 45. Periods of rain tonight, low 34. Patchy fog with on and off rain and drizzle tomorrow, high 45. An evening shower in spots, otherwise low clouds and fog tomorrow night with a low 35. Thanksgiving Day will be cloudy with a high 46. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
32 at O'Hare, 35 along the lakefront. Next news update, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560 The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshale Financial Group.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
My agenda will be based on a simple core principle: putting America first.
But I know the low-profile Jeff Sessions. I know a guy who hired me as the first African-American chief counsel on the Senate Judiciary Committee. These people are just bringing up false rumors just because they don't like the policies Jeff Sessions is going to bring.
If President-elect Trump believes that he should be talking about what black Americans have to gain, as President Obama said and as Hillary said, let's give him a shot. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and see if we can find common ground.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the question is, Amy, you've been uninvited from your own birthday party because of politics.
Yes, I was.
How many Thanksgiving or holiday? I don't want to be culturally insensitive. Thanksgiving or holiday.
Oh, I celebrate Christmas. You can say
festivals, festivises. Have you been uninvited from because of your politics? Because this is a real thing. More than a third of Americans say the idea of talking politics at Thanksgiving is stressing them out. 77% of Americans, according to Gallup, see the nation as divided, which is an all-time high. And this story from USA Today about people like yourself, Amy, who are being uninvited to Thanksgiving because of politics.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I could see this. All right.
Caitlin,
how did they tell them? Did they text message them? Like I received the text message, or is it via email? Or maybe they're man enough to call them and just uninvite them to their face?
Yeah, so for example, Sarah Jane Cunningham knew that her Facebook posts about the election were rubbing her family the wrong way. But she didn't realize they would get her uninvited from Thanksgiving dinner. The 19-year-old said her mother called her a week before Thanksgiving, confronted her about the Facebook posts. She asked me if I was going to be disrespectful to my family, and I told her that it could work either way. If the things I'm saying are disrespectful to Trump supporters, the things they are saying are also disrespectful to me. Cunningham's response got her uninvited to her family's Thanksgiving dinner in Maine. Good, you little snot-nosed punk kid. Stay down in North Carolina.
That is so rude. Just because of her political beliefs. I mean, she's uninviting her from Thanksgiving. That's not family. That's not the love of family, what Thanksgiving's all about. You're supposed to be thankful for your family members on that day?
I don't know.
Maybe?
I mean, my Thanksgiving, I'm going to do what I normally do, which is have a Hungry Man TV dinner and watch football in the dark alone at my well-appointed condo. So I don't understand these cultural touchstones of which you speak.
Get the TV dinner with the mashed potatoes and the turkey and the gravy.
Salisbury steak and mashed potatoes. Nothing says Thanksgiving like it.
You won't be bloated in the morning or anything with all that salt intake.
So what about that? Is there still tension in your family or in the extended family and friends with whom you may convene on Thursday to celebrate Thanksgiving or celebrate, of course, the white man exploiting the Indians, as I like to think of it? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. Share your stories. Are you one of the third that is stressed out at the idea of having to talk politics at the Thanksgiving dinner table? I like talking politics. I learned that from my grandfather on my mom's side. He was a ward healer in the city, a former Chicago fireman. And so we would talk politics. He liked talking politics. He was kind of a FDR Democrat, leaned that way. But I mean, in his later years, as the Democratic Party went off the left-wing crazy train, there was a lot of agreement and stuff. So it was interesting. He was very knowledgeable about Chicago politics. So I learned a lot from talking to him. It was
Where
fun.
was he a fireman?
In
Chicago. What side of town? Do you remember?
I'm not allowed to disclose that.
Oh, those are. You don't want to tell me what engine company fine or what ladder company? Yeah, but this is a real problem because there's students, and these students are very sensitive these days over at Loyola University, who are really worried about leaving their safe spaces at college and going home for Thanksgiving.
Sure. I'm just feeling a little bit anxious about meeting with them. Hopefully, trying to keep down any sort of contentious debate during meals.
Meeting with them? You mean your family? I mean, all right, did you hear the tone too? I'm anxious about meeting with them. Oh, the people that supplied shelter for you, the people that paid for the college that you're standing in during that interview?
Hey, listen.
Them?
Listen.
Those people?
Listen, kid. You think they're real excited to have you home with all your knuckleheaded ideas from Loyola?
Well, this other student, Alito Golfini, he's preparing to step in as a moderator in case things get ugly.
I have a stronger voice as I grow older and things like that, so I feel like they respect my opinion more and things like that. So I definitely I feel comfortable around them and everything. They're family, of course. So I just try to make sure we all stay friends after holidays.
I feel comfortable around them.
Well, he's trying to.
Oh my God.
Blessed are the peacemakers, they shall inherit the earth.
312-642-5600. I mean, really, is anybody that anxious? I know where my mom stands politically, so I'm okay hanging out with my mom. But there's other
Aunt
people
Linda, you could hang out with Aunt Linda.
Yeah, that's a different branch of the family.
Well, I'm just saying you could if you were uninvited from the other branch of the
Jacobson
other
clan.
branch
Yes.
Davidians in the Jacobson clan. I don't know.
I just think with my kids, they know how I stand too politically, and I want to have a political free zone. I really do. I don't want to talk about it. That's what some.
Hey, Peyton and
people-
Eli, if you're listening, bring up politics during dinner.
They say
make her talk politics.
If you are hosting Thanksgiving and you're concerned about this, they want you to announce a politics-free zone before people enter the house, or make a mass email to all of your invited guests to tell them to not discuss it.
Boy, glad the Pilgrims were a hardier group than what's wandering around today. Now, the thing is, if you have been uninvited or there were never any invitations extended, as in my case, there is this option, which is, this is really nice.
What?
Rent a friend.
Oh, the damn prof story.
If you ever, this is how they market it. Ever had to go somewhere new by yourself? Yes.
Yeah.
Wish you had a friend to bring along for company? Yes.
Sometimes.
If you've ever been in that situation, you don't have anyone to call. Yes. Check out Rent a Friend. It's a new website that lets you rent company. Friends upload profiles so you can pick a person that suits your needs, like a walking buddy or someone just to teach you knitting. I would love that. I would love to have a friend to teach me knitting. Rosie Greer, are you available? He was more of a crochet artist, though, I believe.
So do you have to pay this person to be your friend?
Signing up to rent is $24.95. I've got the money. I just don't have anybody that can tolerate me. So that's why this is perfect for me,
You sure
particularly
this isn't
during the
gonna
holidays.
Meander into a call girl service or something like that?
At $24.95. No, this is friend time. This is strictly platonic.
Well, how long? So for $24.95, how long can I rent a friend? I mean, is it an hour, 2 hours? If I want to expand it, do I pay more money?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know all the particulars. I haven't dug into it quite that deeply because I was really hoping that robots would be here. Then I could just have a robot, so I wouldn't need to rent other humans. But I guess I'll rent other humans, waiting for the robot revolution.
I want you to know that I proactively rented you a friend for the third hour of the show today.
Oh, great!
His name's Robert. I thought he could sit there in that chair.
Hi,
we'll have him
Robert.
for an hour and just see if you guys get along. See if any skill set that you're interested in that he could teach you.
He's an undergrad from DePaul with a man bun who's an atheist. Yeah, we're gonna have a great time. Glenn in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. How you guys doing today?
Good.
My wife and I and my father-in-law are the only Trump supporters in a whole sea and multitude of Clinton supporters, and we feel that we really want to just do our best to represent the good, godly American values of really just loving and respecting our quote-unquote enemies.
That's no fun. Yeah, I mean, that's, don't...
Don't you want to mix it up, Glenn?
Here's a suggestion. Here's a way to get your aggression out, but to do so in a friendly context so that it won't be perceived as political. You play the turkey bowl. You go outside, you play the turkey bowl, and you say, this year we're not going to do the flags, we're going to do full contact.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What about that?
Well, they're a little bit older. There's a few younger guys that are Clinton supporters, but I don't think they'll be into that. they're more of just like a sit around and talk about
Play some euchre.
say useless things or
I
like
see.
just kind of dumb stuff. They're wrapped up in like the really lame parts of American culture, like who said what when and who did this and what's going on with that person in Hollywood. There's not a whole lot of substance sometimes at the dinner table, but that being said, my father-in-law is from Switzerland, so he brings an interesting perspective that's usually very rational and logical.
Sure,
and,
he's neutral.
Yeah, but he's a pretty sharp guy. He's got a lot of experience in international business, and he loves Donald Trump. Just sees Donald Trump as a fantastic man for the
interesting.
job. And
No. Okay, great. Well, thanks. Here's a tip, too. Here's what I used to do growing up. If the conversation gets too banal.
Oh, banal.
Or banal.
Didn't you eat that last night
Which
with your
pronunciation
soup?
do you prefer?
Banal?
Then just put the headphones on and listen and watch the football game and just pretend they
Oh my
don't exist.
Gosh,
Yeah.
I could see you doing that.
Thanks for the call, Glenn. Good luck at Thanksgiving dinner.
When things got banal or banal, you went and sat in front of the TV.
I said, Grandma, you're being a bit quotidian. I'm going to listen to the football game now. I'm not just going to pretend to pay attention to you while I'm actually watching the television over your right shoulder. I'm going to listen to the game formally as well. Candace in DuPage, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning.
Morning.
Our family is very political, and we even have wagers. So every year for Christmas, we have a wager for the next year of what celebrities will die.
Oh.
And like,
Nice
and
holiday.
then, also, we did discuss the election, and my husband won because Trump won, so he's real excited to go back. But yeah, we're very political, and we're very right wing, and we don't talk to the other half of the family who's Democrat.
Really? See, that's what's
Freeze 'em
wrong
out.
with America.
No, that's right.
But
Freeze
not
them
only
out.
but it's not because of that. It's been going on for years. Because people who are left wing are somewhat immoral and anger people. So
Yeah, they're barbarians. Thanks for the call, Candace. They don't use cutlery, the left.
Oh, yeah, they just eat with their hands and
Exactly.
don't wash
It's
their hands before they
disgusting.
tear into the meat on the bone.
Mike on the north side.
Good morning. This Thanksgiving talk really has got me upset and disappointed. Actually, in my family, I'm the bleeding heart liberal. They're also old-fashioned Germans. But I'm really worried about Amy and her birthday party. Is there something we could do, like we can invite all the listeners to a bar Wednesday night, and they could just bring gifts or cash for Amy?
What is
Forget all about those bleeding heart liberals.
Mike, like the Constitution, Article 1, for your reference, there is an emoluments clause in Amy's employment contract. She can't be corrupted by gifts from listeners.
I just want to bowl. I want to bowl against you, and I want Mike to come, and I want him to watch me kick your butt in bowling. A 10-pin bowling lounge, right?
Yeah, 10-pin. Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Mike,
All right,
we'll
how's
work
that,
something
Mike?
out.
You can officiate a bowling match between me and Amy. How's that sound for a Wednesday night outing?
Hey, she's the girl, but if we can get, or you can use the money, if Amy wants to donate all her gifts to feed the children or something, we can do that.
Oh, boy, you're in the holiday spirit.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, Mike.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You know, my Democrat friends are so rich. That's when you say, how rich are they?
How rich are they?
They all have second homes. Some have third homes that are bigger than their homes here.
Hi-yo.
Okay.
That is weird.
Forecast for today. 33 degrees right now, going up to a high of 45 degrees. You will have some rain if you live in the western suburbs. And then tonight, periods of rain. And tomorrow, big travel day. Patchy fog in the morning with on and off again rain and drizzle. A high of 45. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Well, for your friends in Winnetka, Sheridan Road has reopened. Between Cherry and Hawthorne, there was an earlier fire. And for your friends in Wadsworth, there's a crash, 173 at Delaney. On the Aidens inbound, a little slow now. Devon to Foster, 20 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound fine at 19. Kennedy, 23 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 20. The Eisenhower is a 43-minute drive from Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 31. Stevenson now heavy, especially from the Des Plaines River Bridge to Kedzie. 49 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. The Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Jim Telemonte calling out Winnet guy. Love it. The website, upstream-ideas.com, content, long-form content that you can't get on this show, but adds to the richness of this show. Long-form interviews with leading intellectual lights such as Colonel Alan West and Sebastian Gorka and Michelle Malkin and K.T. McFarland. Local leaders like Peter Roscom, opinion leaders like Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass, commentaries from by me, 60-second commentaries, the 60 seconds of sanity commentaries you hear on these airwaves, as well as podcasts of interviews on this show in case you missed them, podcasts of our Sunday show, Illinois Rising, an hour-long focus on state of Illinois and politics and policy. It's all at upstream-ideas.com. Go to upstream-ideas.com and sign up to receive content of this sort.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-400-8249. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-400-8249. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-400-8249. 1-800-400-8249.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Oh, I had my joints all ached. My sciatic nerve was really bad. Like 10 hours, my eyes were so tired and heavy and almost burning. And then when I woke up in the morning, there was this nagging pain. I mean, it hurt to open them. And just in a week, like, I don't have the nagging pain anymore. My joints stopped hurting, and I'm in wood season. I'm lugging wood right now, and I'm not hurting. So that's, like, amazing for me. I'm usually really suffering. It's pretty effective. And so now, like I said, my husband and I are both taking it, and he even said his joints aren't aching as much, and he's feeling better.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
It's good. You can laugh out loud. It's good stuff.
Dan and Amy, we'll get to Keith Olbermann and his girlfriend Katie Tour.
Yeah,
I just
told you
found
that
out
before.
I didn't know that.
She was his intern, and then he helped her get a job at the
Bet
network
he did.
level.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
And we wonder why she's part of the alt-left. Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General nominee Donald Trump has put forward. And, he's getting a lot of the flack that he got 30 years ago when Ronald Reagan attempted
to make him a federal judge.
Correct. Yeah. Jeff Sessions on record saying so-called sanctuary cities that protect illegal immigrants should be prosecuted. So Tiny Dancer.
Oh no.
He may have.
He's got his little tutu ruffled this morning.
I don't think he's going to do well at Gitmo. Tiny Dancer. But
Tiny Dancer. I don't know if I was off. There's 2 days, but he had come forward saying, everybody relax. Donald Trump is not going to touch our federal funding. And he was trying to one-up Donald Trump in your face. Did you guys play that?
We talked about him doubling down on sanctuary city status as part of his reclamation project to pander to Latino voters in the city. And,
or that, yes.
Politically correct addled lakefront limousine liberals, of course, which provide his constituency to the extent one exists still. But what Donald Trump does with respect to big urban centers that are, quote-unquote, sanctuary cities in terms of federal funding, and perhaps more punishment than just the removal of federal resources. Jeff Sessions, very, very interesting. He has the power, by the way, Sessions does, to strip some federal funding from sanctuary cities thanks to rulings this year by the Justice Department's Inspector General, who said that federal law requires localities to cooperate with immigration agents. Well, that stands to reason.
It is the law.
Correct. And so what Jeff Sessions does on this topic will probably be will be an important signal to those that voted for Donald Trump, in addition to probably a topic of conversation during his confirmation hearing. But in terms of Jeff Sessions and who this guy is, we had Fred Foreman, former U.S. Attorney for the Northern District, on yesterday, who knows Jeff Sessions, talked about who he actually is as opposed to this racial demagoguery that's coming from the left. Also yesterday on Fox and Friends, William Smith, who's the first black general counsel, black Republican on the Senate Judiciary Committee, who was hired by Jeff Sessions, he had this to say about Jeff Sessions, who he knows, who hired him, who he worked for.
These people are just bringing up false rumors just because they don't like the policies Jeff Sessions is going to bring. But I know the low-profile Jeff Sessions. I know a guy who hired me as the first African-American chief counsel on the Senate Judiciary Committee, and I know a guy who does low-profile things. So I'm going to give you one example of that, is that Senator Arlen Specter had a counsel who left and went to Harlem to work in a Boys and Girls Club type organization, and he reached out to Senator Schumer and Senator Clinton and said, hey, can you come and visit these kids? And never got any response from him. He called me up and said, hey, I'd like for somebody to come up and visit these kids to try to inspire them. He called me and said, can you think you can get Jeff Sessions to come up here? I said, I'll talk to Senator Sessions. I talked to Senator Sessions about it. We went up and he spent a lot of time with those kids. We didn't send out any press releases, not a high-profile case. But this is something that Senator Sessions did, never got any publicity on it. Yeah. He's just an outstanding guy.
Just an outstanding guy, says William Smith, the former general counsel for the Senate Judiciary Committee, worked for Sessions. And then Ducey followed up and asked, did Jeff Sessions ever say anything, do anything that offended you as an African-American? And William Smith offered this.
And during your time with him, did he ever say anything that offended you personally?
Never said anything that offended me personally. Well, one time he told me he was going to vote for Eric Holder.
Zing!
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Gina Labus, President and CEO of Mid-States Glass and Metal and a customer of Signature Bank since 2011. As we expanded our business into all aspects of the glass and metal industry, we needed a bank who could grow along with us. That's when we met Mick O'Rourke, co-founder of Signature Bank. Mick and his team took the time to understand the ebbs and flows of our business. They worked with us to find a solution that would support our growth. Mid-States Glass and Metal is proud to work with Signature Bank because they support Chicagoland women-owned businesses like mine.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Real interesting. The American left calls Trump and his national security team Islamophobes, but those suffering under Islamic theocracies in the Middle East are welcoming a Trump victory. Why is that? We'll ask Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, founder and president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, at 6:36.
And later, should Donald Trump denounce that alt-right group? We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Donald Trump has canceled plans for a meeting with the New York Times today. Trump made the announcement on Twitter saying the terms and conditions of the meeting were changed at the last minute. He met other executives from media outlets yesterday. The NTSB launching an investigation after a horrific bus crash in Chattanooga, Tennessee, that claimed the lives of 6 school children.
What we do know about this crash is it was a single vehicle. Only the bus was involved. It was traveling down this road from the school towards where we're standing right now when it left the roadway and struck a tree.
Police Chief Fred Fletcher says the driver, John Anthony Walker, is charged with vehicular homicide, reckless endangerment, and reckless driving. A Brooklyn Uber driver is accused of plotting to blow up Times Square. Mohammed Rafiq Naji was arrested at his home yesterday. Federal prosecutors say the Yemeni citizen traveled to Turkey and Yemen last year to try to join ISIS. Najee's lawyer says he was simply trying to visit family. There is a suspect under arrest in connection with the murder of a San Antonio police officer.
We made an arrest in the capital murder of Detective Benjamin Marconi. We arrested 31-year-old Otis Tyrone McCain.
McCain was taken into custody during a traffic stop without incident. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus says detectives are still trying to figure out an exact motive. 15 are hurt following a strong earthquake that rattled the area of Japan near the idled Fukushima nuclear power plant. The Japanese news agency NHK says 2 of those injuries are serious. It was a magnitude 6.9 quake, but an aftershock, they say, of the devastating 2011 quake that led to the meltdown of the Fukushima Daiichi plant. Organizers of a November 29 nationwide day of protest by hourly workers say a planned strike at O'Hare is only part of their push for a $15 an hour wage and some union rights. Workers at other places like McDonald's restaurants will also join the day of disruption, as they are calling it. Edmonton beat the Blackhawks 5-0. Winthrop upsets the Fighting Illini College Hoops 84-80. The news service of the 89-cent pancake deal at Burger King. How is this even possible? Right now at Burger King, you can get 3 pancakes for 89 cents. 3 hot, fluffy, golden pancakes for just 89 cents. Unbelievable but true. 3 pancakes, 89 cents, only at Burger King. Limited time only. Price and participation vary. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher explains why some people voted for Trump.
I don't want to gloat because it's not, I don't want to hurt people. You know, I'm taking a cue from Donald Trump. You know what he said about Bill and Hillary Clinton? He said, I don't want to hurt them, but she did some pretty bad things. The compassion that he has for people really did shine through. Trump haters don't want to admit that.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period. It's the busiest time of the year. So much to do. Plan this, schedule that, fit this in, drive here, drive there. And on top of it all, you're in charge of planning your company's holiday party. How are you going to get it all done? Well, there's one thing you can take care of quickly, easily, and deliciously. Call Belvedere Events and Banquets in Elk Grove Village and place your holiday catering order. You can pick up or have them delivered to your corporate office, home, or wherever. And if you need a place to have your party or event, Belvedere Events and Banquets can take care of that too. From 50 to 1,000 guests. To make your holiday event a great success, unique, special, and easy to plan, log on to BelvedereBanquets.com and take a peek at their amazing menu or call them at 847-534-0600. Belvedere Events and Banquets in Elk Grove Village. Book your catering by January 1st, 2017, and you'll get $25 off a $250 or more order. BelvedereBanquets.com or call 847-534-0600 and leave your holiday party planning to them.
Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories Incorporated, SEL, has multiple openings for its Application Engineer Protection position. The Application Engineer Protection will help customers apply SEL power system protection products through visits, demonstrations, training courses, and telephone contacts. He or she will also contribute to product specifications, applications, and testing software and literature. Positions are based at SEL's Lake Zurich field office. SEL has numerous customers nationwide, so some travel is required. Incumbents will occasionally and on a short-term basis be deployed to various customer sites, so candidates must be willing to travel to various unanticipated locations throughout the United States on an ongoing basis. To apply, please email your resume to careers@selinc.com. That's careers@selinc.com. Discover the opportunities available at this world-class manufacturing company, Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories. It's not just a job, it's a future.
Attention market watchers. Until recently, the market hadn't seen back-to-back days of 500-point losses since November of 2008. What if you had no market exposure? What if you didn't have to worry about the markets? How would you sleep? Leave the volatility behind. Hi, this is Jack Taboda. Our proprietary income strategies provide reliable, inflation-protected income, guaranteed for life, with no market exposure. Call me at 630-777-7955. That's 630-777-7955. You've worked hard to build your wealth. I work hard to protect it. 630-777-7955.
Insurance products may be presented and guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the insurance company represented. Securities offered through ProEquities Inc., a registered broker-dealer and member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Harvest Investment Services LLC, a registered investment advisor. Taboda and Associates and Harvest Investment Services LLC are independent of ProEquities Inc.
It is 6:38. Let's check the roads. AM 560's Jim Talamonte.
Like the inbound Edens runs 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 20. The Kennedy 32 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 28. The Eisenhower now 50 minutes. Thorndale to the post office outbound 32. Stevenson really rough from LaGrange Road to Kedzie. It is an hour and 2 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive outbound 38 minutes. Ryan 25 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slow Archer to LaGrange Road. From the Stevenson to 31st, very slow from the Reagan Solway to Grand Avenue. Traffic is a service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. Only on Black Friday until 10 a.m. Come into Firestone Complete Auto Care for their early bird special. Get a free tire installation package with a 4-tire purchase. Go to driveafirestone.com for more details. Whatever you drive a Firestone. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Clouds on the way for the day, 45, and some periods of rain overnight, low 34, and a drizzly day ahead tomorrow, high 45. Currently 33. Next news coming up at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy, I know as a globetrotter, as an elite, you will often venture off to far-flung places, high-end hotspots in Europe for the holidays, because that's what people in the upper caste do. So I just wanted to make sure you were aware of this. The State Department has issued a travel alert to Europe.
Oh, really?
After France foiled an ISIS-linked plot. The French authorities arrested 7 people after raids in Strasbourg and Marseille on Sunday, and this apparently was as part of an 8-month-long investigation that the Interior Minister, the French Interior Minister, said had been planned for a long time on our soil. Strasbourg, home to one of the most famous Christmas markets in Europe, with 2 million people expected to visit after it opens on Friday, so you could see why it is a target for radical Islamists and this ongoing fifth column problem that France has. For more on this topic, as well as a look ahead to what Trump is going to do with that plan from the generals he said he's going to get to defeat ISIS, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, the founder and president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, as well as the author of the book, Battle for the Soul of Islam. Dr. Jasser, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
So your reaction to the news of the State Department travel alert, but really the fact that French authorities have foiled an ISIS-linked plot, and does it say that the French are getting more serious about the threat, and Europe more generally more serious about the threat posed by ISIS and related terrorists, or is this just kind of a fortunate event that they were able to foil this plot?
Well, I think, if you look at the totality of it, I'm surprised there's not been more found with the amount of attacks and the uptick in squeezing ISIS in both northern Iraq with the taking back of Mosul and also the amount of bombing happening in Aleppo and elsewhere. ISIS is putting out messages throughout in their magazines and online jihadist forums and others to commit acts wherever possible, because they want the West, they want this to stop. They are getting squeezed, and the more they get squeezed, the more they're going to push whoever they can to act out. I'm not surprised that the French are fighting more. They're finally beginning to shift from the simply looking for terrorists to actually looking at precursors, be it the ideological precursors seen in some of the mosques, some of the Islamic organizations. You remember their lesson they learned last year was they had the first cell that committed 2 acts of terror 4 months apart. So it was committed in November, and then went and hid out in Belgium and committed another act in Belgium 4 months later. So they realized that some of the communities within were insurgents that were not reporting to the police, and they had to use fingerprints and other scans of various apartments in Belgium until they found them 4 months later. And even when they did, they committed another act. So they're in a lot of trouble, and I think we in the United States should take note. We've been fortunate. There's been no attacks now since Orlando, but we really have to be at the highest vigilance, as now there's a huge transition in power that's happening in the United States, and the fear is going to be higher on ISIS because they're going to see a more confrontational administration take place rather than the appeasement of the Obama administration.
So do you think part of the focus from our feds is on the recruiters themselves who are trying to, be provocative and provoke lone attackers?
Yeah, and one of the things I've always said is that this concept of lone wolf is just non-existent. These are not lone wolves. They're simply operationalized individuals who get radicalized in their locality, but then they become violent and shift from a militant ideology to militant operationalization online. So remember, what they're finding is the old paradigm that somehow, and this has been testified to Congress by Homeland Security experts and others, that we have to shift. And the UK actually just had a large report that came out 2 weeks ago that said we have to shift from this mantra of simply blaming Google and Twitter and YouTube and others, that actually the reality is that there are local ideologies that paint the West as being anti-Muslim, the grievance narratives and other conspiracy theories that begin them on the line of radicalization. And that's why we have to change the mantra from countering violent extremism to countering violent Islamism, and that'll help us then narrow down who God forbid, is going to be the next Orlando shooter, San Bernardino shooters, et cetera.
Dr. Jesse, you're mentioning the shift in attitude of the outgoing administration to the incoming administration. Retired Army General Jack Keane said something rather startling in an interview on NPR over the weekend. He said, I told Trump, if you're going to do what you said you were going to do, and ask for a campaign plan from the Pentagon for how to defeat ISIS, believe me, you'll get a comprehensive campaign plan with many options in it that this president never asked for. Keane is saying Obama never asked for a military plan to defeat ISIS. That's a rather incredible statement, isn't it?
Well, I think where that's coming from is, remember, and as I have family in Aleppo and Damascus that is suffering from not only ISIS, but more significantly from the bombings of Russia and Assad and others, you cannot solve the refugee problem without creating safe zones in Syria, without preventing the need for the 8 million children victims that are displaced and the 10, 12 million others that have nowhere to go, to have them stay home, to stay in Syria where they don't want to leave, actually, but they're being forced to leave into Europe and creating this larger security threat. So, how do you do that? How do you navigate that? That plan he's talking about, you cannot decrease the threat to the world from ISIS without also figuring out a path forward for Syria, which includes both the decimation of ISIS in the short term and in Iraq, by the way, which is also the other plan. Obama closed his eyes and plugged his ears to anything that had to do with any type of troop return into northern Iraq, which gave the green light to ISIS to have the oil revenue and others that they got from Iraq to maintain the sustenance and create the flow of information globally to radicalize Muslims. So that plan he's talking about includes not only plans in Iraq and Syria, but then also into Europe and working with our friends and allies in NATO to figure out how to vet many of these refugees that are threats to them also.
Speaking of Iraq, Trump's choice for National Security Advisor, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, is credited along with General Stanley McChrystal for eradicating al-Qaeda in Iraq. And I wonder what your assessment is with your disposition to be more aggressive in combating radical Islamic terrorism, your assessment of the national security team as it's coming together for the Trump administration.
Well, as you know, I was not a Trump supporter, and I've been guardedly optimistic, and I've been very pleased, with his appointments. I think that he is picking some of the best choices possible. General Flynn has, I think, a lot of the media uproar about some of his comments were truly taken out of context. He was talking about Islamism, not about Islam. If anything, you can look back and see some apologetic pieces about Islam that he's written with another Muslim and others. So I think you should look at his determination. He has served his country well in a previous position as head of DI, Defense Intelligence. So this is not going to be new to him. And I think Congressman Pompeo to head the CIA, he's fantastic. We are going to finally, I think, have somebody heading the CIA that understands that the biggest global threat to our officers and our interests and American citizens abroad is the infiltration of radical and political Islam globally from countries like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and others that purport to be our allies, which is what the CIA needs to confront. So a lot of these appointments I'm very happy with. Now, the positions on Russia, I'm a little concerned about. I hope I was very optimistic to see Romney vetted and being looked at for Secretary of State, because that'll help some of us that are worried about a pro-Russian policy because of Mr. Trump and some of General Flynn's other verbiage that seemed to be a little too sympathetic to Russia. So as a Syrian American, I'm very much looking for the more hawkish attitude through either a future Secretary of State Bolton or Romney to make it very clear that we will not be appeasing Russia and what they're doing with Iran or with Syria, which is very important in the global battle against radical Islam.
He is Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, the founder and president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy and the author of the book Battle for the Soul of Islam. Dr. Jasser, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks for having me back.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
They bombed, there's 2 hospitals left in Aleppo, and they bombed one last night. And the video of them taking babies that were born prematurely out of these incubators and running for cover, I mean, it's too much. I wanted to ask him if there's anything we could do to help.
Well, that's his position, that we should take a more hawkish position with respect to Russia.
I'm a bleeding heart Republican. I want to help. So do my kids. Today, considerable cloudiness, a high 45. Tonight, periods of rain. And then tomorrow, it's going to be fog in the morning, then on and off rain and drizzle, a high of 45. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Inbound Eden's delays start at Niles Center, 28 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 20. The Kennedy, 32 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 28. The Eisenhower's now 55 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 36. Stevenson, an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, and 48 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 40 minutes to 3:55. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 is light. Bishop Ford runs 33 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. Northbound Tri-State delays 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, northbound Veterans Memorial a little sluggish, Maple to the Reagan Tollway. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The Obama White House racing to implement environmental regulations. Fidelity's chairman is stepping down, and those stories are next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. Attention investors, your IRA or your 401k may be at risk again. The 2008 crash wiped out up to 50% of IRAs and 401ks. Can you afford to lose again? What if you could store IRA or 401k savings where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold or Silver IRA, you transfer a portion of retirement savings into physical coins you can actually see and get fast in case of any disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today for a free gold and silver IRA guide. No obligation. Augusta Precious Metals, A+ Better Business Bureau rating, 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. One more time, 1-855-222-6993.
Edward Johnson stepping down after 39 years of running Fidelity Investments. The Boston company grew from almost $4 billion in assets in 1977 to $2.1 trillion today. U.S. officials blocking new mining claims outside Yellowstone National Park. The move, one of the last-minute regulations being pushed through in the Obama administration's final days. It's expected to be reversed when President-elect Donald Trump takes office on January 20th. Economic reports today include an update on existing home sales as well as the weekly report on sales at chain stores. Koch Industries has agreed to buy the remaining 55% of Guardian, which manufactures windshields, windows, and other glass products. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Get out and have some fun. Visit ChicagoRadioDeals.com for a fun night on the town. Grab your Sweet Caroline and make a date to listen with your favorite music or to your favorite music. Direct from their Midwest tour is Denny Diamond and the Jewels, featuring the music of none other than Neil Diamond. Normally $76 for lunch and a show for two. It is only $39 at ChicagoRadioDeals.com, or head downtown for some laughs. $22. That's it. We'll get you a pair of tickets to Comedy Sports Chicago. It's a unique blend of fast and funny improv comedy that's appropriate for all ages. My former friend Sue would bring her kids several times because the show always changes. It's a laugh-out-loud show that features two improv teams who play games on stage where the referee and the audience is in on it, on the fun. Or this is a chance for you to get away and escape to Wisconsin. Find certificates for the Schuster Mansion Bed and Breakfast in Milwaukee or the Door County White Lace Inn in Sturgeon Bay. So check in every week for fun and adventure, only from your friends at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Are you a business owner or manager who wants your facility to be more locked down? Do you occasionally need to limit access to your building from certain employees at certain times? Turn to Access Master, a proud supporter of AM 560 and Feed the Children. Access Master makes managing access to your facility easy. Whether you need to control access at a single entrance or to all your doors, Access Master will work with you to develop a plan customized for your business security needs. Everyone in your organization can have their own unique access profile to allow them access at certain times of days at various entrances. You can even monitor when employees are on site and receive an email or text notification in real time if employees need to enter your facility after hours. Business owners and managers, make an appointment to review options for controlling access to your facility. Contact Access Master today to help control access to your facilities. Call 800-321-2850. That's 800-321-2850. Please mention this ad.
Licensed in all states. Product availability varies. Agents may be compensated on enrollment.
This is Michael Medved. I'm here with Mike Stahl from Health Markets, helping folks find the right Medicare coverage. The news reports say that the rates might be going down.
The government projects the cost of Medicare plans will decrease this year. So you have to ask, are you getting the best rate? Health Markets offers a free service to help folks maximize their Medicare benefits and save money.
The enrollment period for Medicare has already started. What is it people need to keep in mind?
Enrollment in the right plan is not automatic. With so many Medicare options, it can be confusing. My advice, don't go it alone. Get unbiased help to find a plan that may cost less and cover more with lower co-payments, more choices like dental and vision, and the freedom to choose your doctors. With the enrollment deadline only weeks away, it's important to act now. Our Health Markets Medicare service is free.
Thanks, Mike. This is Michael Medved for Health Markets.
For your free Medicare assistance, call 800-814-8109. That's 800-814-8109. 800-814-8109.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. In a recent interview with Charlie Rose, celebrated left-wing snarkist Jon Stewart lamented that no one in the government press corps ever asked Donald Trump what makes America great. The failure of a group that generally doesn't consider America so great to ask that question is unsurprising. It nonetheless remains an important one, and this post-election period of reflection is an opportune time to take it up. America is great because our founders encoded into the DNA of the body politic that God is good and man is not. Our rights come from a perfect God and cannot be taken away by imperfect men. Thus, our framers limited man's power over his fellow man by diluting it across co-equal branches and subordinate laboratories of democracy. America is great because we're equal before God and have set that same standard we inadequately fulfill in our treatment of each other. America is great because we're accountable before God and disposed, however insufficiently, to set the same bar for each other. America is great because we're called by God to live lives of service and freely do so every day in communion with each other and in repudiation of modern identity politics. America is great because we seek God's grace even while recognizing we're unworthy of it.
All right, guys, huddle up. Coach's car battery died and he's running behind. And since I haven't been paying attention, I have no idea what plays we run or what most of your names are, for that matter. So, what I'll do is I'm going to pop this antacid tablet, I'll fall down, I'll fake a heart attack, and then you guys act shocked and concerned and stuff. And hopefully that'll buy me enough time for the coach to get here. All right, team on three.
Make sure you'll be there. Get a car battery test today. Find a location at interstatebatteries.com. Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable.
An important message from Medicare.
I found a better deal on prescriptions.
I found a new plan with lower costs. It's Medicare Open Enrollment. Have you compared plans yet? Who knows what you might find? Check out your options at Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
You never know unless you go.
Medicare Open Enrollment, October 15th through December 7th. Brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Should Fenwick High School football team get a do-over at 7:07?
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is the one and only Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, O'Hare workers plan to strike on November 29, not during the very busy Thanksgiving Day holiday. We'll tell you why. A funeral set for the grandson of Congressman Danny Davis. He has a pitch for those in Chicago and legislation he wants to set forth as well. Carbon monoxide deaths suspected in Plainfield. 1 killed and 3 hurt in a major Chinatown stabbing. 1 person hurt in Hammond, Indiana, after a church building explosion. Chicago sports, the Bears' Darrell Freeman suspended for 4 games, and the Oilers blanked the Blackhawks last night as the circus tour continues. Cloudy in your forecast today. We'll have a full forecast after Fox. WIND Chicago News Time, 7.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. How do you console the parents of kids killed in a school bus crash?
It's the toughest thing that you will ever do in your life.
Hamilton County School Superintendent Kirk Kelly in Tennessee says there are no words, but counselors are available today for students. The bus driver's been arrested. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
Jonathan Walker faces charges including 5 counts of vehicular homicide, and more could follow. Investigators say the bus hit a utility pole before it flipped over and was wrapped around a tree. They're looking at speed as a factor, but they want that black box from the bus and to be able to review the video evidence. Superintendent Kelly says 5 kids were killed.
Of those deaths, 3 were in the 4th grade, 1 was a kindergartner, and 1 was a 1st grader.
It took 2 hours for emergency workers to get all the kids off the bus. Police say there were no obvious roadway conditions that led to the crash, and they're looking to see if alcohol may have played a role, Dave.
Tanya, an apology from an accused cop killer in Texas.
The situation I was in, I lashed out at somebody that didn't deserve it.
Otis McCain said he was sorry as he was led away in cuffs, accused of murdering a San Antonio detective at a traffic stop on Sunday. President-elect Trump has put out a video online detailing his agenda for the first 100 days in office.
On immigration, I will direct the Department of Labor to investigate all abuses of visa programs that undercut the American worker.
President-elect Trump also says he'll withdraw from the TPP Pacific trade deal he's called a disaster, and he'll cancel restrictions on energy production on shale and clean coal, claiming he will create a lot of jobs. Now, the president-elect also says he's today canceled a planned meeting with what he calls the failing New York Times, tweeting a short time ago terms and conditions of the meeting were changed at the last minute. Not nice. Now, the New York Times has just put out a statement saying they were unaware that the meeting was canceled until seeing President-elect Trump's tweet this morning saying they did not change the ground rules and all and made no attempt to. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Skies are mostly cloudy this morning. We have 34 degrees. 7:02 is our time on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Former Chicago Alderman Fast Eddie Verdoliak scheduled to be arraigned today in a Chicago federal courtroom. The ex-politician was indicted earlier this month on charges of impeding the IRS and income tax evasion. Prosecutors claim he had worked out a secret deal with other attorneys to be cut in to collect as much as $65 million from a massive settlement with tobacco companies without doing any work on that case. Verdoliak is said to be pleading not guilty in the case. One man is dead, 3 others are hurt following a stabbing in Chicago's Chinatown neighborhood. 2 of the men were found wounded last night near 23rd and Wentworth. One of the victims died at a nearby hospital. The other remains in critical condition. Organizers of a November 29 nationwide day of protest by hourly workers say a planned strike at O'Hare is only part of their push for a $15 an hour wage and some union rights. Organizers say now they plan to walk off the job again after Thanksgiving, but it's also workers at McDonald's restaurants and other fast food joints in 340 cities that will join the planned day of disruption. A man facing charges over his outburst during a Saturday showing of Hamilton in Chicago says he was provoked by the audience. Attorney Jonathan Feldman says 56-year-old John Palmer was not intoxicated Saturday night as witnesses described him. A funeral planned Saturday for a Chicago congressman's grandson shot dead after an argument over basketball shoes. A spokesperson for Representative Danny Davis says 15-year-old Javon Wilson's funeral will be Saturday at an AME church on Chicago's South Side. Authorities believe a mother and daughter were found dead in suburban Plainfield from carbon monoxide poisoning. Will County Coroner's Office says 65-year-old Denise Carlini and 29-year-old Morgan Becker were discovered yesterday inside a home near 127th and Shelley Lane. And one person is recovering following a gas explosion at a major church building in Hammond, Indiana. Officials say the incident happened last night on property on Wilcox Street that is owned by the Bethel Congregational Church. Edmonton beat the Blackhawks 5-0. College hoops, a big upset for Winthrop over the Fighting Illini, 84-80. The news service of Staples Print and Marketing Services, helps your business promote holiday sales and provides fast turnaround on cards, invitations, even banners and signs. Right now, get 20% off custom holiday cards and invitations. Staples, make more happen. Ends 12/24. More at Staples stores or staples.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Has America's history been the result of a series of fortunate accidents? Is America great because of dumb luck? In his latest book, Michael Medved argues that something greater has been at work. Divine Providence. Join AM 560's Michael Medved for a special lunch on Thursday, February 2nd at Belvedere Banquets in Elk Grove Village as he tells the story of the American miracle. Get your tickets now at 560theanswer.com/miracle. That's 560theanswer.com/miracle.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.99%. APR 4.77%. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. So lock in this ultra-low rate before it goes back up. Call 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
7:06. Let's get an update on the ride to work this morning. Here's AM 560's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound, Eden's delays start at Niles Center. 27 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Kennedy, 37 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 18 from Montrose, 16 in the Express. Outbound 31 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower is 55 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. 39 from Manheim. Outbound 37 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40. The Rhine is 25 minutes from 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford heavy, 35 minutes, 89 forward to the Rhine. The Y-57's light. Northbound Tri-State bottled up 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Northbound Veterans Memorial, slow Maple to the Reagan Tollway. The other tollways are fine. Westbound I-80 heavy approaching Chicago Street after a crash. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
It will be cloudy throughout the day today with a high of 45, then remaining cloudy tonight with periods of rain, low 34. Tomorrow, patchy fog, on and off rain and drizzle toward the day and a shower in spots in the evening, high 45. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently with 33 at O'Hare, 35 along the lakefront. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
My agenda will be based on a simple core principle: putting America first.
But I know the low-profile Jeff Sessions. I know a guy who hired me as the first African-American chief counsel on the Senate Judiciary Committee. These people are just bringing up false rumors just because they don't like the policies Jeff Sessions is going to bring.
If President-elect Trump believes that he should be talking about what black Americans have to gain, as President Obama said and as Hillary said, let's give him a shot. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and see if we can find common ground.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I know we have major things to talk about. Trump's update on the transition and the executive action he's going to take in a number of policy areas in the first 100 days and what you're going to have for Thanksgiving and who you're going to have it with.
And what you're going to discuss at Thanksgiving dinner.
That's right.
Oh, and some breaking news. Donald Trump is not going to be meeting with the New York Times today.
That's right.
Apparently the rules have changed and he wasn't happy, so he canceled it. Bye-bye.
He doesn't need them.
Bye-bye.
But this, I think it's fair to say there's nothing more important than high school football.
There is nothing more important than high school. I say that every morning, right, when I walk in here.
And we have a bit of controversy, and I wonder if this fits into the everybody gets a trophy culture.
Ugh.
Fenwick.
The Fenwick.
Versus
Everybody.
Plainfield.
I didn't do it.
In a state championship semifinal game over the weekend, here's what happened. Fenwick is leading 10-7.
Okay.
Like 4 or 5 seconds left. The quarterback is on his own 5-yard line, throws.
So they're in the red zone.
No, his own 5-yard
His
line.
own 5. Oh.
Throws the ball.
Way away.
Throws the ball downfield to just run out the clock.
Right.
The refs call him. The officials call him for intentional grounding. Flag him for intentional grounding. And so they give the ball. It's a penalty and loss of down. They give the ball to Plainfield on Fenwick's 5 for an on-time down where they kick a field goal, tie the game, and then Plainfield goes on to win 18-17 in overtime. And now, because the refs made the wrong call, you don't get an on-time down for an offensive penalty like intentional grounding. And the refs and the Illinois High School Sports Association have admitted the refs made a mistake. They admitted they made a mistake. Everybody knows they made a mistake. That is not in controversy. But now Fenwick is litigating the matter. They're in circuit court tomorrow seeking injunctive relief, or I guess the overturning ultimately of the outcome of this weekend's game so that Fenwick goes to the state championship game, not Plainfield, because Plainfield's there only because of that blown call by the refs that allowed them to kick the tying field goal on an on-time down and go into overtime and win the game ultimately. Amy Jacobson, mediocre high school volleyball player.
Wow. That was, at least I made high school volleyball and started, but go on.
What say you about this sports controversy?
I say the refs made a mistake, but the ruling on the field stands. You learn from this, and next time you won't blow the call again. But you don't reverse the outcome of a game.
Well, how about litigating it at circuit court?
Well, that's because they can't accept that they lost. And I'm sorry, it's awful when the ref or the ump makes the wrong call. It happens in every game. City finals, 5th and 6th grade girls volleyball. The ref called a push or a lift. It wasn't a lift. It was a beautiful set. I mean, it's called life. Suck it up and deal with it. I know, 312-642-5600 in Fenwick supported. Who went to Fenwick? Governor Quinn. He went there, and his brother's a basketball coach there.
No, he got fired.
He did get fired?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, people, I mean, they're very passionate about their sports. They love that school. Any alumni will let you know that they went to Fenwick High School.
If Corey Maggette calls in, we'll take his call as the definitive opinion on this.
312-642-5600. I know. What say you, Dan?
I am surprised at your viewpoint on this.
Really?
Because I am in total agreement.
Oh.
Well, I know. Wah, wah. Well, so litigating this outcome, I mean, I guess the point is, and frankly, to your point about your 5th and 6th grade girls volleyball team, you can litigate every bad call because every bad call changes or has the potential to change the outcome of the game. And so this is not a judgment call. It's not like they call pass interference and that's a judgment call. This is, there's no controversy about the erroneous nature of the call. But I agree with you that bad calls, missed calls in sports is part of sport. It's a game played by humans and overseen by humans, so mistakes are going to be made. And it is part of life. It is a learning experience. Fenwick won that game, should have won that game, should be in the state championship. The refs blew the call, and that happens.
I mean, remember when umpire Jim Joyce botched an easy call and took away a perfect game from that Detroit Tigers pitcher,
Yeah.
Armando
Galarraga.
That's what I meant. I mean, that was, and then he cried afterward. He messed up. He made a mistake and he was bawling and he apologized. But
and Galarraga does not get the perfect game. He doesn't go down the record books as having a perfect game because the ref blew that call.
I mean, it was all, you hear the collective member, everyone went, oh, and even he messed it up. He couldn't take it back. It's gone.
I mean, I understand being hyper competitive, and I understand what the
Oh, I'm aggressive as they come.
The desire to redress a bad call, but I think there are limitations to it.
I mean, to take it to this level.
First of all, I'm kind of stunned that it wasn't caught by the refs on the field, and I'm sure I would think Fenwick's coach would have said, "Wait, why are they getting an on-time down? You don't get an on-time down." And if
I even know that's bad.
Well,
I mean, really, that's bad.
I'm sure. I can't imagine that wasn't protested during the game at the time. And it's amazing to me that officials didn't get together and say, "Oh, well, yeah, that's right. What are we doing here?"
But an emergency order.
I'm surprised it didn't get caught, but it clearly didn't get caught. However, it went down. I don't know if anybody was at the game, but give us a call, 312-642-5600. The opportunity to change the call at the time. But once the game is over, once you go to overtime and then Plainfield, Fenwick scores and then Plainfield scores and wins on a 2-point conversion, then that's the game. Well, that's my view on it.
So what if this judge agrees and seeks this out? Are they going to have a redo? Or is that what's going to happen?
Well,
or are you just going to have the game end when it ended?
Yeah, I would say there should have been no on-time down. So I guess the judicial action Fenwick would ultimately be seeking is to say Fenwick won the game. They go to the state championship, and Plainfield High School does not because
they're going this weekend.
Well, I understand they're in court tomorrow. This has to be adjudicated post haste because you've got a championship game this weekend. Let's go to Dan in Lake in the Hills, who's a Fenwick grad, apparently.
They're coming out of the woodworks.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, guys. Big fan of your show.
Thank you.
Thank you. And, sorry you couldn't get into Bennett.
Yeah, that's okay. It's a good school, too. Hey, I also cover high school sports. I got a sports blog, and I'm totally embarrassed to be a friar this morning because it teaches the wrong thing that you can go through the courts to figure out something that happened on the field. A loss is a loss. You learn from it and you move on.
Were you at the game by any chance?
I was not.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the call, Dan. What's your sports blog? Promo your blog.
Bergsworld.live.
Burns World, B-U-R-N-S?
B-E-R-G.
Oh, Bergsworld. Bergs World. Bergsworld.live. Okay. All right. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate the call. Bergsworld.live. John in Melrose Park.
Hi, how you doing? I guess some people have a hard time accepting the game is over and that human error is part of the game since humans are playing it and humans are overseeing it by being a referee or an official of any level. And for me, as a former educator of 33 years, the value we put on sports is disgusting at the high school level. It pushes all other morals and values aside, family and integrity, more often than we will ever admit.
Yeah.
And the money we're going to spend, having competed against Fenwick, is not a surprise. If you spend a single dollar on litigating this, that could have gone into some other fund. And I know they have a line item for your attorney, but it's disappointing to think you can't just tell your kids that the referee blew it. It's okay. It just proves it. I'll leave you with this thought. It's not the journey. It's the destination that they're saying is what makes a success.
Yeah.
Because if it was the journey, they got where they needed to be. They busted their butts, and they fell short because of human error, and it wasn't theirs. I'll leave you with that.
Yeah, thanks for the call, John.
And quickly, Plainfield North released a statement saying that we understand Fenwick's position. However, Plainfield North won the game in overtime, and we're preparing for the state championship game this Saturday, 4 o'clock in Champaign.
Well, sure, I understand that. And, John makes an interesting point about sports, and I agree with that to some extent. You certainly have bad manifestations, but also the reason I'm such a sports nut and I love sports so much is because it's a true meritocracy, number one. And number two.
And that's why I like it, too.
Well, and number two, there are these great moments in sports, too.
Oh, yeah.
The great where somebody will pick up a kid who, a competitor will pick up a kid who fell down, foregoing his chance to win the race to exhibit sportsmanship. So sports teaches so many great things. And this is an adult decision to litigate this in a court of law. And I'm not sure that's teaching a great thing.
No, that means if there's any outcome you don't like, there's always the possibility of litigation.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times I hear kids say, "Oh, I'm going to sue you for that," or "Let's sue them." I mean, it's what's going on with our society.
And to John's point in Melrose Park, I mean, Fenwick's a private Catholic school, of course. But, I'd like to see less money spent on lawyers and more money maybe set aside for scholarships so that smart kids that don't have the resources to go to Fenwick could maybe get to Fenwick and get out of CPS, for example. I'd like to see higher, better use for those limited dollars. You know what I mean? Joe in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, I'm not condoning or condemning the situation, but I think everybody's missing the technical point on this. Is they're not litigating the call. In fact, you cannot litigate the call. It's in the IHSA rules. What they're litigating is the game was officially over. And I know it's a technicality, but that's what the litigation is that the game was officially over, and that's what they're asking the judge to decide if the game was officially over.
Well, right, but I mean, that's kind of the backdoor way to get to the same place, right? The ref said the game wasn't over because they provided an on-time down, and I see I understand the legal argument. I know what you're saying, Joe, and thank you for that. But they're just.
It's going to be interesting to see how the judge
rules
just, on this one.
It's a lawyer's way to get to the same place to litigate the call.
But
I mean, that's what you're really doing.
Huge pass, game over. But no.
All right, hold on. We got a lot of reaction to this. We'll take more of your calls right after this. 312-642-5600 is online.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
More of your phone calls coming up. Grab a line, 312-642-5600. Should there be a do-over in the Fenwick Plainfield North High School football game? But first, here's your forecast. 33 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of 45 degrees with some considerable cloudiness all day long. Thanksgiving Eve, we're going to have patchy morning fog and rain on and off throughout the day, a high of 45. And on Turkey Day, Thanksgiving, gobble, gobble, cloudy, a high of 46. It's really bad. I have to work on that. Let's go into the traffic center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. On the northbound tri-state, it's slow from I-80 to the Lincoln Oasis. There's a crash in the left lane, and it's really jammed. 115th to 31st and Roosevelt to North Avenue. Southbound heavy O'Plain to 176. Eastbound Adams tollway delays are from Bussey to the Des Plaines Oasis. The Edens is 26 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 22. Kennedy, 40 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 31. The Ike, 55 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 37. The Stevenson, 53 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 38. Ryan is 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Are you a business owner or manager who wants your facility to be more locked down? Do you occasionally need to limit access to your building from certain employees at certain times? Turn to Access Master, a proud supporter of AM 560 and Feed the Children. Access Master makes managing access to your facility easy. Whether you need to control access at a single entrance or to all your doors, Access Master will work with you to develop a plan customized for your business security needs. Everyone in your organization can have their own unique access profile to allow them access at certain times of days at various entrances. You can even monitor when employees are on site and receive an email or text notification in real time if employees need to enter your facility after hours. Business owners and managers, make an appointment to review options for controlling access to your facility. Contact Access Master today to help control access to your facilities. Call 800-321-2850. That's 800-321-2850. Please mention this ad.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. TLC Laser Eye Centers is now offering great prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved all-laser LASIK technology for less than what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-300-3992. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra $400 off your all-laser LASIK procedure. That's $200 off per eye. We've already performed over 2 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve for less than what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-300-3992. 1-800-300-3992.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had some ulcer issues on my leg that I had from Vietnam. It would erupt on occasion of periods of stress. When I was taking juices, these ulcers had disappeared, but I was not able to get good quality fruits and vegetables to make good juices. And, these ulcers came back. But since I've been taking the fruit and the veggie capsules, these ulcers again have subsided.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
All right, guys, huddle up. Coach's car battery died and he's running behind. And since I haven't been paying attention, I have no idea what plays we run or what most of your names are, for that matter. So what I'll do is I'm going to pop this antacid tablet, I'll fall down, I'll fake a heart attack, and then you guys act shocked and concerned and stuff. And hopefully that'll buy me enough time for the coach to get here. All right, team on three.
Make sure you'll be there. Get a car battery test today. Find a location at interstatebatteries.com. Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable.
An important message from Medicare.
I found a better deal on prescriptions.
I found a new plan with lower costs.
It's Medicare Open Enrollment. Have you compared plans yet? Who knows what you might find?
Check out your options at Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
You never know unless you go.
Medicare Open Enrollment, October 15th through December 7th. Brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're talking about that Fenwick Plainfield North semifinal game where the refs blew the call, allowed Plainfield to tie the game when the game should have been over. Plainfield wins in overtime. Fenwick now litigating the case in Cook County Circuit Court. They're in court tomorrow. Text from, and I love when all the high school rivalries come out. Text from 224, Prairie Ridge Wolves don't have that problem because they win every game by blowout.
Oh, see, there you go. But I mean, it's so sad the quarterback, with what, 5 seconds left, just threw a Hail Mary, you think, run out the clock.
No, well, not a Hail, just running out the clock. Yeah, just threw it downfield. Intentional grounding. They give the ball to Plainfield. They kick the tying field goal in. Text from 708 Jacobson is right. Call stands. As a Mount Carmel grad, I could care less about Fenwick, of course.
There you go. Isn't that great? I mean, some things never, ever change.
As a Bennett grad, I could care less about Fenwick, too, especially because Pat Quinn and his brother. Pat Quinn, baby. Remember Pat Quinn, when Fenwick fired Pat Quinn's brother as a basketball coach, he said Fenwick had lost its soul.
I know. Well, I took it personally. Come on, it's his brother. He got fired.
It's grotesque.
It's his way to get into the games for free.
So should Fenwick be litigating this, and should those referees be criminally prosecuted and put in IHSA jail?
Stop it. If they're in Texas, I'm telling you, I lived in Texas, they'd have death threats. Trust me. But I'm sure we're more civilized here in Illinois, right?
Oh, without question.
Oh, yeah.
Ralph and Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. The decision should be easy. Something like this has already happened when Steve Harvey incorrectly announced the winner of the Miss contest.
Yeah.
He said it was Miss Columbia.
Right.
She got the tiara on her head and everything, tears of joy, everybody happy. But wait. No, it was really Miss Philippines. So what happened? Current Miss Universe yanked the tiara off of Miss Columbia's head.
Yeah, I saw it.
Placing it on the correct head of Miss Philippines. More tears, not all of joy. That should happen. So the Fezzik or whoever said that they should win. Wait, no, Fezzik, that was somebody in a movie.
Okay.
All right, you're off topic.
Yeah,
okay, we got to go back to sports.
Ralph,
We really
thank you for being our Miss Universe correspondent.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. We'll have
Welcome.
Miss Philippines litigate or adjudicate this matter. I think that's a good middle way. Gary in Geneva, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, hi, Dan and Amy.
Hey.
Didn't you state, Dan, that they're not really arguing the call of intentional grounding? It's the way that the refs remediated the call, which would kind of be incompetence
Yes, right.
officiating.
Right.
So it's a different argument completely, correct?
What's a different argument?
Well, you're saying that they blew the call.
Yeah, they blew the call.
call would have been that they didn't make the correct call. But it's the way they remediated the call by
okay.
Whitefield the ball.
Okay.
So that is a mistake in officiating,
Right.
which would kind of speak to incompetence.
Okay.
The refereeing.
Okay. And?
So the only way to kind of seek justice in it is in a court of law.
Are you an attorney, Gary, by any chance?
No, I'm not, but I want to give Mr. T a shout-out at Fenwick for all his years of service.
Okay, all right, Fenwick boy. All right, Gary. Thanks.
We're on to you. We were watching you.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Pete in Mount Prospect.
And Pete.
Good morning.
Hey, Pete.
Listen, the error is on the coach of Fenwick for not knowing the exact rule.
Yep.
Chivalry is dead in football, and the Plainfield coach let it stand.
But did we know? I don't know. Did the Fenwick coach protest the call at the time?
No, I don't think so.
Obviously not.
Well, I mean, he could protest, and the refs could ignore him too. I don't know. I just don't know the answer. I can't believe he didn't know that was an improper call. But thanks for the call, Pete. Appreciate it. Matt in Crystal Lake.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks. Love the show.
Thank you.
The exact same thing happened at D1 collegiate level this year earlier. So Oklahoma State is ranked 11th.
Oh, that's
currently.
right. Yeah.
And they were ranked in the top 25 when Central Michigan was given a untimed down at the end of the game for the exact same reason.
Yeah.
So shame on the coach from Fenwick for not paying attention. And all he had to do was have a receiver in the area to avoid intentional grounding. And Central Michigan won the game. Coach from Oklahoma State calls the league officials, and after the game and protest, and they said, "You're absolutely right. They blew the call, but you lost the game."
That's
move
it.
on.
That's it. Thanks for the call, Matt. Good recall.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Roger Michalski from Eagle Financial Publications. Are you a dividend investor? If so, let me tell you about a website that has just about every resource that a dividend investor could ask for. It's called dividendinvestor.com. We just launched a new and improved version of it, and there's nothing else like it. When you log on to dividendinvestor.com, you'll find screening tools plus an all-star ranking system to help you find the best dividend opportunities. There's a scorecard to track the dividends in your very own portfolio. plus time-sensitive updates so you'll be the first to know when dividends go up or go down, and so many other features. Be my guest. Log on for free today at dividendinvestor.com. Set up a portfolio and see how easy it is to work the dividend calculator. And be sure to take the website tour to discover all the other great benefits. I'm convinced dividendinvestor.com will pay dividends to your bottom line. Go to dividendinvestor.com now. Dividendinvestor.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, should Donald Trump denounce that alt-right group? We'll explain, but first, into the newsroom we go. Are you a Fenwick grad? No, I'm kidding. You're from Michigan. Here's Mike Scott. But you do live in Brookfield, right?
I live in Riverside.
Or that, yeah.
Good chunk of Riverside goes to Fenwick. So, you know.
There you go. There's the connection.
35 degrees out there. We have cloudy skies this morning, and we're watching developments in Chattanooga, Tennessee this morning, where the NTSB is launching an investigation into yesterday's deadly school bus crash, again in Chattanooga. The incident claiming the life of 5 elementary school students and sent nearly 24 others to the hospital. Hamilton County Interim Superintendent Dr. Kirk Kelly updated the situation this morning.
We had 37 students that were involved. We have 32 that are accounted for. We have 5 confirmed deaths. We have, of those deaths, 3 were in the 4th grade, 1 was a kindergartner, and 1 was a 1st grader.
Hamilton County Interim Superintendent Dr. Kirk Kelly saying that several of those injured are in ICU in very critical condition. A Brooklyn Uber driver is accused of plotting to blow up Times Square. Mohammed Rafiq Naji was arrested at his home yesterday. Federal prosecutors say the Yemeni citizen traveled to Turkey and Yemen last year to try to join ISIS. Naji's lawyer says he was just visiting family. The man accused of gunning down a San Antonio police officer Sunday now says he lashed out at someone who did not deserve it. Otis McCain told reporters he was upset he wasn't able to see his son while a child custody dispute continues. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus.
This is very much an ongoing investigation. There are many facets of the case which still need to be investigated. This investigation is by no means over.
Tsunami warnings have now been lifted in Japan, where a magnitude 7.4 earthquake struck in the northeast, sending people scurrying to higher ground with memories of the devastating 2011 tremor fresh in their minds. Officials say the quake was an aftershock of the 2011 quake. Former Chicago Alderman Ed Vrdolyak scheduled to be arraigned in federal court today. The ex-politician indicted earlier this month on charges of impeding the IRS and income tax evasion. 1 man is dead, 3 others hurt following a stabbing in Chicago's Chinatown neighborhood. Circus tour continues for the Blackhawks. They fall in Edmonton 5-0. The news is a service of Squatty Potty. Do you have hemorrhoids? Squatty Potty helps eliminate them by elevating your knees. It is a holiday gift that's perfect for you. Available at Bed Bath & Beyond and Target stores. Go to squattypotty.com. Use the code TRAFFIC to save 25% along with free shipping. 7:35 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes we were on the verge of disaster.
The shellacking has just been awesome. It is a rejection. I don't say it's permanent. The country was at a precipice. Had she won, I would not have this smile on my face. It would have been perhaps irreparable, the damage that the left has done, as it does everywhere. Look at Western Europe.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy 1 cabinet and get 1 free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
Many of you own or manage growing companies, and you know that your entire business depends on your phones. If your phone service provider struggles to deliver your calls, it can mean lost revenue. That's often the case with an outdated phone system. The solution? Well, it's a company that we use here at AM 560, Innovative Networks. They excel at providing innovative solutions to reinforce your company's phone infrastructure and enhance call flow. We truly appreciate how comprehensive, diligent, and cost-effective Innovative Networks was in providing solutions that scale as our business expands. Innovative Networks can even replace your outdated phone system at no cost and provide hands-on training to maximize your capabilities. You'll save money and be more focused on growing your business. Here at AM 560, we're thrilled with Innovative Networks, so follow our lead and call Innovative Networks at 453-7777. They're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. Call 312-453-7777 or visit go4inet.com. That's go, the number 4, I-N-E-T, phonehome.com.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. From now until January 31st, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition. Aetna, Coventry, United Healthcare, and Harkin Health no longer offer health insurance subsidies even if you qualify. One company still does, and they still offer plans that provide access to Northwestern Memorial, University of Chicago, and Rush University Medical Centers. Call me. I can help.
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
7:38 and a check of the roads. Let's get an update in the traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. 8094 westbound delays are from Burnham Avenue up the northbound tri-state to the Lincoln Oasis, where there's a crash in the two left lanes. And 294 is very heavy, 115th to 31st, and Roosevelt to North Avenue. Southbound tri-state, stop and go 122 Plain. The Edens is 23 minutes, Light Cook to Montrose, outbound 24. Kennedy, 41 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. The Eisenhower, an hour and 6 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 37 minutes. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 39. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic service of account temps. The 2017 salary guide is here. Check it out for instant access to the up-to-date salary forecast. More than 400 accounting and finance jobs where you live. Visit them at accounttemps.com. Account Temps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Considerable cloudiness today, high 45, currently 33. Your next news update is at 8, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. All right, here it is. This just breaking. Trump's campaign manager, former campaign manager, now going to be a senior advisor in some capacity, still to be determined or at least announced. Kellyanne Conway, she's on Morning Joe this morning. The question of Hillary Clinton and charges against Hillary Clinton. Ms. Conway said this: I think when the president-elect, who's also the head of your party, tells you before he's even inaugurated that he doesn't wish to pursue these charges, it sends a very strong message, tone, and content. Conway said of Clinton, she still has to face the fact a majority of Americans don't find her to be honest or trustworthy, but added that if Donald Trump can help her heal, then perhaps that's a good thing to do. What do you think, Trump supporters? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. That sounds like a broken campaign promise, doesn't it?
It sure does, Dan, but it doesn't surprise me because when he was on with 60 Minutes, the Sunday after his election, well, it aired Sunday after his election. He sat down with them Friday. He described the Clintons as good people, and it was not what Trump supporters expected.
Are you going to ask for a special prosecutor to investigate Hillary Clinton over her emails? And are you, as you had said to her face, going to try and put her in jail?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to think about it. I feel that I want to focus on jobs. I want to focus on health care. I want to focus on the border and immigration and doing a really great immigration bill. We want to have a great immigration bill. And I want to focus on all of these other things that we've been talking about and get the country straightened away.
You called her crooked. Hillary said you wanted to get in jail. Your people in your audiences kept saying lock him up.
Yeah. Well, she did some bad things. I mean, she did some bad things.
A special prosecutor?
I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to hurt them. They're good people. I don't want to hurt them. And I will give you a very, very good and definitive answer the next time we do 60 Minutes together.
Well, it sounds like that definitive answer was delivered today by Kellyanne Conway.
Well, maybe.
No special prosecutor.
Maybe. Trump has been known to change his mind, so maybe. Maybe not, but that seems to be the disposition of the Trump camp at this point. And I mean, it's a difficult thing because, the one hand, if you formally pursue the investigation, let the committees that are investigating continue to do their work, essentially direct the Attorney General to investigate, ask for Comey's resignation. I mean, if you go down that path, then it derails or could derail a lot of other policy initiatives you want to advance in your first 100 days. You want to go right away. A Supreme Court nominee and all kinds of other executive action, as well as the issues of Obamacare and trade policy and so forth, tax reform.
Yeah, but people wanted him to go for the jugular, and he didn't do that against the Clintons.
Well, so the issue is, do you defer to Jeff Sessions once he is confirmed as your Attorney General, or is Kellyanne Conway saying effectively this is over? And nothing more shall be pursued. I mean, there are middle ways. We've talked about them on this show. You could potentially look at a civil RICO action rather than a criminal RICO action to effectively get the Clinton Foundation, which is the corrupt organization, shut down without putting Hillary or anyone else under threat of imprisonment, under threat of criminal penalty. You could do that, but it sounds like they want to walk away from this altogether. That's what it sounds like. Take your calls on it. Bob at Waukegan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, it's totally bogus. I mean, Hillary's going to walk again, which proves that if you've got power and money, you don't have to pay the piper, which brings me to the next point is, somebody should figure up in government how much money it has cost the American people to prosecute her for all her inane asinineness. And
but Bob, what about your reaction to the decision vis-a-vis Trump?
I think he's got a lot of stuff to do. He wants to get it done as fast as possible, and for America, it's probably a good thing because Hillary Clinton is like a boil on an elephant's rear end. So it's probably good, but I think there should be a fine levied. If she wants to walk free, there should be a big fine that she has to pay from the Clinton Foundation, from somewhere, that restores all the money that we had to pay out for all of her evil deeds.
Thanks for the call, Bob.
I mean, she has paid the ultimate price. She is not president of the United States. And they took a lot of donations from a lot of foreign countries and a lot of government leaders. And I know that there was some quid pro quo, that there was something to be paid back to those countries if she was elected president. So they lost. And they have egg on their face, and they're not coming back into the political world. It's over.
Losing isn't good enough when you've committed criminal acts or even improper acts from a civil context. That's not enough. Number one. Number two, here's the thing I don't like about this. I can understand the decision to kind of wash your hands of this and look forward to all that is before you. I can understand it. I think it's a complicated decision. But I don't think there's any reason to telegraph it before President Obama leaves office, because I think you want to keep him sweating out what Trump is going to do so that perhaps he moves to pardon her. Because if he moved to pardon Hillary Clinton, that would be part of his legacy, and it would be another stain on his 8 years as President of the United States, much as pardoning Nixon was a stain on Ford's 4 years as President of the United States. So I'd like him to be a little bit better poker player with President Obama and maybe kind of game him into doing something he otherwise would not want to do.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Let's go to Margot in Burr Ridge.
First of all, I just want to say, Amy, the ultimate price is not losing the presidency. She did not give the last full measure of her devotion to the nation. That is the ultimate price, and she will never pay that. But we need to get her money. She sold out our uranium to the Russians for $145 million. How do we get our children's security back? How do we do that? We need to get all that money from the Clinton Foundation. I agree. It would be very bad optics for her to go to prison and all of that, and Trump cannot be seen to have his fingerprints on it. He needs to let Sessions or somebody else do it. But they need to get all of that money and finish the Clintons off for good politically.
Thanks for the call, Margot. Adam in Bloomingdale.
How you doing? I just think there's so much needs to be done now. The Clintons, they've lost. It's over, and I just don't think there's any advantage to keep beaten. I mean, she's beaten. She's lost, and I'd rather spend our energy and resources on getting this country back in the right direction.
All right. Thanks for the call, Adam. Jerry in Mount Prospect.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call. I think Mr. Trump should stop talking about it because it's an ongoing investigation. He should let the FBI do a thorough investigation of the Clinton Foundation and anywhere else that evidence leads, which will take 2 years because that's how long these things take. They should then, in a professional manner, present all evidence to the Justice Department, and then the Justice Department, in a professional manner, decides what to do. And that's how we do things in the United States when we don't have a banana republic like the Obama regime.
Well, fair point, Jerry. Thanks for the call. I don't disagree with that. A text from 815, how do you drain the swamp and save the pond scum floating on the top? Bill in Lincolnshire.
Yeah, I wonder if Kelly's just saying that so Barack doesn't give Hillary a pardon as Jesse Jackson was wanting him to do. So then you kind of be a double poker player, so you don't say what you're really going to do, and then later you can prosecute her once Obama's out of the office.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Bill. Boy, that would be interesting. I mean, if he's trying to bait Obama not to, so that he can, take her on. Boy, it'd be interesting. I don't know. That would really be something. I don't think so, but maybe. Mike in Park Ridge.
Yeah, you guys have mistook that chant, lock her up, the whole time. They were saying, knock her up. Knock her up.
I think that ship has sailed, but thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Well, now it all makes more sense.
Knock her up. Who's getting in line for that? Hey-oh. That was really catty and rude. But
Steve in Hinsdale.
Knock her up.
Yes, Trump should be recognized for his benevolence and orientation toward social justice, and he should be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize immediately. Thanks. Have a great day.
There's no question. Thanks for the call, Steve. Deborah in Palatine.
Yeah, I think that there is bigger fish to fry. It's going to be really hard. The Clintons are already taken down by her not getting the presidency. And a friend of mine read The Art of the Deal. And one of the things that's a big deal to Donald Trump is the deal is always changing.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for the call, Deborah. I mean, priorities, right? Jonah Goldberg had a good piece in National Review Online, by the way, on the House of Clinton finally crashing down. But they still have that Clinton Foundation. And I know there's going to be a massive drop-off in donations and fundraising and probably activity as they go off into the sunset.
And their speaking fees are going to drop down from $700,000 probably back to what they were before, $150,000, $200,000.
Well,
for Bill.
But the point is, the fact was, should they be allowed to walk off into the sunset? I mean, this is Victor Davis Hanson too has an excellent piece today. I mean, he's always good, but I mean, he has been killing it lately. And he says, among other things, what good did grifting for all those hundreds of millions of dollars do for the Clintons in their sunset years? Do they look healthier and haler for their frenzied pursuit of lucre? Did they gain greater respect and acclaim the richer they became? Or are they resting in peace with the assurance of lives well lived? Are they finally deemed successful for scamming the last $50 million in their pay-for-play scheming? No, I think they've been discredited, and I guess that's justice enough for some. Tony on the South Side.
Hey, yeah, I just pretty much going to echo what everybody else said. Let Trump do the president stuff. Let the Justice Department, FBI, when Comey gets booted out, let them thoroughly investigate it, find out whatever they can get on her, and even if it's civil RICO stuff, that'd be fine. I think Tangerine Jesus, this guy's a genius. You know what? He's showing nice with the other side so that they have nothing to go after him for. So, so be it. And like you said, Dan, she's tanking on her foundation. So cut the head of the snake off. That's into the Clintons. And then if she does time like Jesse Jackson did a few years, so be it. But I don't think she should go to jail for the rest of her life or anything like that. That's my comment.
Thanks for the call, Tony, and for the moniker for Donald Trump of Tangerine Jesus. Thank you so much.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Are you stuck in a bad home mortgage? Well, join the club that has about 10 million other American families. But I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest legal analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, I guarantee you'll never be alone in this country.
Hey, it's hard sleeping on a flat pillow, flip-flopping during the night, or waking up feeling unrested. So I suggest you do what I did and thousands of others, and that's order a MyPillow today. MyPillow has a patented interlocking fill that adjusts to your individual sleep needs. It conforms to your neck and back. It's washable, dryable, manufactured in America, and guaranteed not to go flat for 10 years. So if you're thinking about that tough person to buy for on your holiday list, right now is the best time to buy. For a limited time, when you buy one MyPillow, you get another MyPillow absolutely free, plus 2 free Go Anywhere pillows. I love this. And the money-back guarantee is extended through March 1st. So visit MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special tab, and use the promo code AMY, A-M-Y. 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows, all for the price of one, plus that extended money-back guarantee through March 1st for your holiday gifts. Or call 800-489-0201, mention the radio listener special tab, and be sure to use the promo code AMY. That's MyPillow.com or 800-489-0201.
And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
What is unique about America, according to Ayn Rand? Most governments regard some men as sacrifices to others and society as an end in itself. They hold that a man's life belongs to society, which can dispose of him in any way it pleases. That any freedom is only by permission of society, which may be revoked at any time. The U.S. regarded man as an end in himself and society as a means to a peaceful, voluntary coexistence of individuals. The U.S. held that man's life is his by right, by moral principle, and by his nature. That rights belong to individuals and society itself has no rights. And the only moral purpose of government is to protect individual rights. This is what made America special. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Ron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brooks Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
If you enjoy Yaron Brooks' Moments of Objectivism, consider making a gift to support content like this from the Ayn Rand Institute. ARI fosters a growing awareness, understanding, and acceptance of Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism to create a culture guided by the principles of reason, rational self-interest, individualism, and laissez-faire capitalism. To support this work, go to ariradio.com and click on the Donate button. Your tax-deductible gift will help to spread the message of Ayn Rand to the next generation.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm 75 years old, and I don't eat enough vegetables or fruit. And this is a great thing to do. And it seems that I have more energy. It seems that I take that, and I take a lot of
blood pressure pills and what do you call it, cholesterol. But my doctor tells me, he said, no, you might cut the dosage down on your pills because what are you taking? I said, Balance of Nature. He said he didn't know what it was. So I told him, I said, it's fruits and vegetables condensed into little pill form. He goes, well, whatever it is, it's doing you a lot of good.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chris Veldman of ServiceMaster DSI, the largest ServiceMaster franchise in the United States and a customer of Signature Bank. In our business, we respond to disaster, and we never know when disaster will strike, whether it's flooding in Louisiana or a house fire in Chicago. Not all banks understand that need for flexibility, but Signature Bank does. That's why we consider them so much more than a bank. They have been our business partner since 2006, when their three co-founders, Mick, Kevin, and Brian, started the bank. Signature Bank is a key part of our growth strategy at ServiceMaster DSI.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, a crashing economy. Are you ready? At best, your local stores have a 3-day supply of food. Will your family have to fight over what's left? Be wise and be ready with 25-year shelf life Wise Food Storage. Try it free. Order a no-obligation free sample meal, and for a limited time, get a 10% discount and free shipping on all orders. Call for your free sample now. 800-787-1010. 800-787-1010.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
It's probably been about 10 years ago. I had quite a few credit cards, and it was just getting to be too much, so I called Trinity.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
They met with me, and they were able to get all of my credit cards in one lower payment. Now we're doing a lot better.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
A text from 630 saw Tangerine Jesus open up for Bye Bye Choom in 97. That was a good concert. Thanks for Tangerine Jesus, Tony from the South Side. We're going to use that liberally. Coming up, Paul Bedard from the Washington Examiner on Trump's cabinet, 808.
But first, here's Mike Scott.
O'Hare workers do plan to strike, but not until November 29. One person hurt in a Hammond Church building explosion. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Donald Trump keeps battling what he has called the dishonest media. The morning after meeting TV anchors and executives and reportedly calling everyone at CNN liars, the president-elect cancels a meeting with what he derides as the failing New York Times. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Mr. Trump was supposed to meet with editors, reporters, columnists, and the publisher of the New York Times today, but took to Twitter this morning to say he canceled when the terms and conditions of the meeting were changed at the last moment. But the paper disputes that account, saying in a statement they were unaware their planned meeting was canceled until they saw the president-elect's tweet this morning. The Times said it did not change the ground rules at all and made no attempt to do so. Mr. Trump wanted his meeting with the Times to be private and off the record. Dave?
John, the president-elect circumvented the media last night, putting out a video online detailing his first 100-day agenda.
On trade, I am going to issue our notification of intent to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a potential disaster for our country.
And he says he wants to end restrictions on shale and clean coal production and investigate abuses of the visa worker program. And the president-elect ruffled feathers in London, tweeting that Brexit backer Nigel Farage would be a good British ambassador to the U.S.
We have a first-rate ambassador in Washington doing a very good job.
So Foreign Minister Boris Johnson with lawmakers says they don't need help from Donald Trump. The morning after 5 elementary school kids were killed in a Tennessee bus crash.
There are no words that can bring comfort to a mother
or a father.
Chattanooga Mayor Andy Burke, the school bus driver, has been arrested on vehicular homicide and reckless driving charges. Speed may have been a factor. The bus flipped onto its side yesterday, then wrapped around a tree. In San Antonio, Texas, an arrest in the murder of a police detective shot at a traffic stop Sunday. The suspect, Otis McCain, said he was sorry as he was taken away to jail. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
35 degrees, cloudy skies. It's 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Former Chicago Alderman Ed Vrdolyak scheduled to be arraigned in federal court today. The ex-politician was indicted earlier this month on charges of impeding the IRS and income tax evasion. Vrdolyak is expected to plead not guilty in the case. One man is dead, 3 others hurt following a stabbing in Chicago's Chinatown neighborhood. Police say 2 of the men were found wounded near the area of 23rd and Wentworth. One of the victims died at a nearby hospital. The other remains in critical condition. Organizers of a November 29 nationwide day of protest by hourly workers say a planned strike at O'Hare is only part of their push for a $15 an hour wage and union rights for workers at fast food restaurants and at O'Hare. The planned day of disruption may hit facilities in more than 340 cities. One person is recovering following a gas explosion at a church building in Hammond. Officials say the incident happened last night inside a property on Wilcox Street. It's owned by the Bethel Congregational Church. A deacon at that church is hospitalized with severe burns to his hands. Edmonton beat the Blackhawks 5-0. Corey Crawford did make 22 saves in the loss. Hawks have a 2-game winning streak snapped. Winthrop upset the Fighting Illini in college hoops 84-80 in overtime, while Northwestern was a winner over Texas. The news, a service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, their grief is unique, but you are not alone. MADD is here to help. Call their 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MADD-HELP or MADD.org. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. It is a service of Turnkey.pro, and here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Hormel Foods, the maker of Jennie-O turkey, Spam, and Skippy peanut butter, reported a stronger quarter. Hormel says sales were better than expected for its refrigerated foods, grocery products, and specialty foods. Its earnings were on target. Hormel is selling a couple of its brands to Smithfield Foods. Hormel says Farmer John and Sag's specialty meats no longer fit in with the company. You'll be seeing more Volkswagen SUVs and a line of electric cars as the company reinvents itself after its emissions cheating scandal. VW admits it missed demand for SUVs and will be selling 19 SUV models by the year 2020. VW's brand chief also says the company wants to sell 1 million electric cars a year by the year 2025. All 3 averages closed at records yesterday, and futures are higher. The Dow was up 88, Nasdaq added 47, and the S&P added 16. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
It's 8:05, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Sean Hannity Show.
How deep, how profound what you have done is now going to impact this country, I would argue, in such a positive way compared to what it would have been. Just the Supreme Court of the United States alone will transform this country in such a powerful, positive way.
Sean Hannity, afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.99%. APR, 4.77%. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. So lock in this ultra-low rate before it goes back up. Call 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
It is 8:06, and let's check the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. In LaGrange, Ogden Avenue is closed from LaGrange Road to Burlington due to a gas leak. 8094 westbound, stop and go from Indianapolis Boulevard up to the Lincoln Oasis on the northbound tri-state after an earlier crash. Farther north, 294 has delays from the Stevenson most of the way to 31st and Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. The Edens is 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 22. Kennedy, 44 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 29. The Eisenhower, an hour and 9 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 52 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 39 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. Adams Tollway eastbound, slow Bussy to the Des Plaines Oasis westbound. It's a mess from the Devon Toll to Bussy due to road work in the right lane. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Cloudy today, high 45. Periods of rain tonight, low 34. Patchy fog with on and off rain and drizzle tomorrow, high 45. An evening shower in spots, otherwise low clouds and fog tomorrow night with a low 35. Thanksgiving Day will be cloudy with a high 46. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
33 at O'Hare, 34 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
My agenda will be based on a simple core principle: putting America first.
But I know the low-profile Jeff Sessions. I know a guy who hired me as the first African-American chief counsel on the Senate Judiciary Committee. These people are just bringing up false rumors just because they don't like the policies Jeff Sessions is going to bring.
If President-elect Trump believes that he should be talking about what black Americans have to gain, as President Obama said and as Hillary said, let's give him a shot. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and see if we can find common ground.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. What up, Dan and Amy? And Amy, we just reported some breaking news last hour. Kellyanne Conway on Morning Joe this morning saying essentially there's not going to be a prosecution of Hillary Clinton.
Right. It's over.
I've got some more breaking news. This is a little bit even more disquieting. Are you ready for this?
I guess so.
Because I had no idea. Apparently.
Something happened to David Gergen?
No. I think David Gergen is still in good stead. You'll be happy to learn. But apparently, Donald Trump has a Nazi in his administration.
Hmm?
Yeah, there's a Nazi there. I know this because Howard Dean, the former DNC chair, the former governor of Vermont, the former presidential candidate, said Trump is a complicated guy. He appoints a reasonable person who's much more conservative than I am, but for somebody who can talk to as chief of staff, and he's not speaking English, but he's trying, and then his advisor is a Nazi.
Oh, Steve Bannon.
I mean, just is a Nazi. That's Howard Dean. Okay. All right. So I suppose just in case anybody was unclear that the battle lines have been drawn. For more on the Nazis in the Trump cabinet and others that may round out his administration, we're pleased to be joined by Paul Bedard. He's the Washington Secrets column for the Washington Examiner, WashingtonExaminer.com. Paul, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. You know, to be clear, I mean, not only is Elvis still alive, but apparently Hitler and Jefferson Davis are advising Donald Trump.
Is that right?
Well, I read the papers, and that's the kind of the sense I get from this transition so far.
It's more breaking news. Thanks for that, Washington Secret.
Sure.
The ghosts of Jefferson Davis and other bigots of a bygone era, or worse. So, I mean, dispensing with the hysterics of a Howard Dean and some of the others on the left, what is interesting is a couple of more than rumors about Trump's interest in reaching across the aisle and maybe making a prominent Democrat part of his cabinet, or at least in an important post in the administration. The meeting with Tulsi Gabbard, the veteran and congresswoman from Hawaii, and the rumors about, if not James Mattis, maybe former Virginia Senator Jim Webb for Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, Webb has been kind of rumored around for a while. Gabbard met with Trump yesterday. You know, she's very tight with veterans. She's good on those issues. She's been critical of the Obama administration's war in Syria, their efforts in Syria, whatever you would call it. Jim Webb, you know, he used to be my senator here in Virginia. He's a conservative Democrat. I mean, he's kind of an old school Virginia Democrat. Very hot on defense issues. Of course, he used to be Secretary of Navy, former presidential candidate. So that makes pretty much a good sense, I think, if Trump really does want to reach across the aisle. I don't see any reason why he should right now. But traditionally, you know, one of these seats goes to a Democrat or someone from the other party.
Well, besides these two, are there any Democrats that politicians that Trump should reach out to for any of these cabinet positions?
I didn't hear you.
Oh, what other Democrats should Trump reach out to fill other cabinet positions besides Gabbard?
I think that's pretty much the line right now. I mean, I know, you know, when you look at departments like Commerce, Treasury, even Labor, Trump has got such a different idea than what President Obama or President Clinton have done in the past. I don't think any Democrat wants that job.
Trump had an interesting meeting with some media execs yesterday.
Interesting.
Apparently,
he was very shy.
Apparently, forced them to all embark upon the Walk of Atonement for their coverage of Trump, past and present. Do you think that was a good move to tell media execs that kind of, I know where you live and I don't appreciate what you've done, and if you think this is all going to be chummy and we're going to kind of pretend that nothing has transpired over the last 18 months that has, then you're talking to the wrong guy.
And I don't know if it was a good idea to, you know, bring in CNN and NBC and CBS and tell them they're all a bunch of liars and their networks stink. Because it's just going to, you know, stir it up even more. But I mean, he's basically, you know, this guy's totally different. I mean, he's going to continue to tell people what he's doing via Twitter, via Facebook. We've never really seen this before. We've heard administrations talk about going around the media for years, but no one's really done it because they've, you know, we're part of the institution here in Washington. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's interesting. At least it may be a little bit exciting to see how we can pull this off, because you'll still have a White House press corps covering the guy.
Right, and he bashes the media, but truth be told, he needs the media, and I just think that he called them in there. I mean, look what he said to Deborah Turnus from NBC News. Why did you use a picture of me with a double chin? In the Chiron box. Why didn't you use a more flattering picture of me? I mean, it's getting a little catty, don't you think?
Well, we're getting a little bit catty, but, you know, puts the media on notice, and maybe for some reporters or some networks and newspapers, like the New York Times said it wants to kind of change the way it covers politics, maybe it awakens them to some of the criticism of the right that they think they haven't been fairly treated.
What's the latest handle on Secretary of State? Because this is, of course, the key foreign policy position that's much rumored about, and you hear, obviously, the meeting with Romney and Rudy Giuliani's name in the mix, and maybe Ambassador John Bolton. But what's your sense of where that's at?
Well, and throw in a California congressman named Dana Rohrabacher. He's also been talked about. Nikki Haley, South Carolina governor. They're not there yet, from what I understand from the inside. Romney kind of has the inside track because he's a good schmoozer. He clearly wants to stay in the public eye, and it shows. It shows to some of Trump's critics maybe he is a bigger man.
Oh,
well,
I would love Mitt Romney
what's
to be
interesting?
Secretary of State. I would have a whole new respect for Donald Trump if he chose him.
You know what's interesting, too, is like I'm watching the idea of Romney being in the Trump administration after his rather indulgent press conference to try and derail the Trump nomination and everything he said about Donald Trump, a lot of which was true, but nonetheless. And then the kind of establishmentarian beltway creatures like Matthew Dowd, who moved from being a Vichy Republican to being a no-labels guy. And he was just aghast at the notion that Romney would deign to be part of the Trump administration on this week's roundtable on Sunday. And boy, it would be the one delight, in addition to I think Mitt Romney would be competent, would do a good job, but the other delight would be for all of these preening media elites, even those that kind of lean sort of right, to have to endure the fact that one of their standard bearers is now folded into the Trump administration. Would be kind of fun.
Where the heck were these people when Barack Obama picked Hillary Clinton to be his Secretary of State after all the things that Bill and Hillary said about the Obamas? And, we know that Michelle Obama harbored hatred for Hillary Clinton for the first 4 years because of some of the mean things she said. There's obviously, imagine this, a double standard when it comes to covering Republicans and Democrats.
Shocking.
Now, it's no surprise that Scott Brown wants to be he wants to be ahead of the VA. Have you seen somebody campaign as he did? I mean, he actually spoke with reporters about why he would be a good candidate for the job. Do you think that will hurt him with Donald Trump, or do you think Donald Trump will bless that?
Donald Trump likes to brag, so maybe he likes people who brag. I mean, typically in Washington, if you go out to the press and you say, hey, I want this and I'm good enough for it, well, you're never called again. I mean, that's just kind of a rule. But maybe, maybe campaigning does in this administration or the incoming administration. I don't see the campaigning hurts. I mean, I get calls all the time from people who want to, get their name out there, or they, advocates who want, to fly a trial balloon of some sort just to get Trump's attention.
Now, Trump issued a video yesterday, kind of giving an update on the transition, establishing his core governing principle. I'm not sure so much of a principle, but the idea of establishing making a statement of principle and bringing the American people along, I think, is a good idea. The idea that it's going to be America first. And then he went on to detail some executive action he's going to take in a number of policy areas straight away upon his inauguration. That more of the going around the press. Do you like that sort of messaging that he delivered yesterday?
I do. I mean, how else would you get this out other than him holding some sort of a press conference? And what he was able to do is to highlight, six agenda items, four of which are kind of a takedown of the Obama administration, but not such an insult yet as to say he's going to repeal and replace Obamacare. I think there's some of those things that he plans to do, but he's just going to wait until after the inauguration when he has to sit next to the president and get it over with. But, it was everything from immigration and national security to regulations. My favorite one is on regulations. I mean, Obama has instituted the most regulations ever by a president, and Trump's idea is, hey, if I propose one, then I got to kill two of his.
And the last thing I want to get your insight on inside the Beltway there is Kellyanne Conway's statement this morning. Is it your sense that the Trump and his administration is going to kind of walk away from any prosecution of Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, he kind of said that at one of his early press conferences where, he called them, what did he say, that they were good people or something like that. I think that was great campaign, red meat, but I think he wants to move now past that because, I mean, you can prosecute her, but it can get any better than beating her? I don't think so.
All right, he is Paul Bedard, the Washington Secrets columnist for the Washington Examiner, WashingtonExaminer.com. Paul, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of clouds today, no sunshine in the mix, a high of 45 degrees. And then tonight, rain comes through here. And tomorrow, we're going to have fog in the morning and then drizzle on and off throughout the day, a high of 45 degrees. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Well, perhaps the president-elect can help with Illinois traffic regulation. We've got a complete mess on the Adams Tollway westbound from the Tri-State to Bussey. For some reason, there's road work right in the heart of the morning rush. The right lane's closed till 1 p.m. Huge delays there. And eastbound, it's slow as well from Bussey to the Des Plaines Oasis. We have problems on the Chicago Skyway this morning. Apparently, there's only one lane open, affecting the toll plaza area, so we have a heavy westbound delays coming into the city. Delays on westbound 8094 Kennedy Avenue to Torrance. There was an earlier crash on the northbound Tri-State at the Lincoln Oasis. The Edens is 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 19. The Kennedy 45 minutes, O'Hare to downtown outbound 25. The Ike an hour and 2 minutes, Thorndale to the post office outbound 36 minutes. Stevenson 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive outbound 36. The Ryan is 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Oh, ChicagoRadioDeals.com can help you spiff up your home and auto. Wash away the road grime and dirt with a great deal from Fuller's Car Wash of Elk Grove Village. A full-service car wash package includes a wash, vacuum, windows, dash wipe down, an $18 deal for only $10. Wow. Hey, give your home the clean it needs with an excellent deal from the Grout Medic of LaGrange. The Grout Medic offers a shower touch-up that includes a steam clean of your shower tile and grout, or choose a clean and color seal floor package for your kitchen or bathroom floor tile. Each deal is $110. That's a $250 value. And shop at a great local hardware store with personal customer service. Purchase the Addison Building Materials $100 gift certificate for only $50. Addison Building Materials is a true value retailer. So tackle your home improvement projects with help from your good friends only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
America is now making history, but not in the way we ever intended. We are now over $19.5 trillion in debt. Entirely unacceptable. Hi, I'm William Devane, and we are now in more debt than we've ever been. And paying this down anytime soon looks pretty grim, which is why I protect my assets and buy gold from Rosalind Capital. Whether you want new or old gold coins or premium collector coins, Rosalind has them all. Plus, what you order is what you get. No gimmicks, no nonsense, no hassle. And they still have the fastest shipping around. So don't take any chances. Protect yourself. Buy gold from Rosalind Capital. Because if you're prepared, you can weather just about any storm.
Get your free gold kit featuring premium coins only available from Rosalind Capital, a free silver kit, and an IRA kit. Go to RosalindCapital.com or call 800-299-8200. 800-299-8200. 800-299-8200.
AM 560, The Answer.
Well, Danny received a flattering tweet from Chad. Dan, your patience and understanding of media executives is on par with sainthood.
That's right.
CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS was 24/7 attacks.
That's a well-crafted tweet. Thank you for that, Chad. And all right, Amy, play the audio of your boyfriend, Scott Brown.
Well,
between Mitt Romney, Scott Brown, and David Gherkin. I mean, good grief.
I mean, really,
You're tasting men.
how could you get ahead? But Scott Brown, he's vying for the VA position.
Work on the suicide issues. I try to get folks with mental health issues covered immediately. The VA can't do it all. We're going to have to outsource some of those cases to private vendors. Obviously, we got to work with the DoD. So when that veteran, soon-to-be veteran, actually leaves the DoD, we know what his or her needs are.
So, I mean, but he's campaigning for the job, which concerns me because nobody else is going up to the media and saying, hey, here's my 10-point plan if I'm the VA director, or if I'm the Secretary of Commerce, or if I don't know. I just hope he doesn't step in it.
Well, I know you're rooting for him.
I am rooting for Scott.
We'll see. I wanted to get to this as well. Local story, Evanston.
Oh, Evanston.
400 Chicago Democrats gathered this past Sunday in a collective Shiva.
Oh, they said Shiva?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
No,
that's
of sorts.
They're religious, right?
It was Calamity Jan Schakowsky's post-election community meeting.
Okay. Was Bob, don't say his last name there, her husband?
Creamy Bob, the convicted felon husband of Calamity Jan Schakowsky.
Was he there? I wonder.
Yeah.
I
don't know if he was there. I don't know if he was there.
Do you lead Shivas? I don't know.
This was a gathering at a Unitarian church in Evanston. Let's see.
Was it an ecumenical service? Were they really mourning the loss of Hillary as president?
Yeah. Calamity Jan said, as Judaism teaches us, after 7 days of Shiva, we stand up. We emerge from the dark. We don't have to accept, we don't have to run, but we stand up. We were taught that the righteous do not complain of the darkness, but rather create light. Well, that would be a twist. And included among the luminaries in attendance, a bunch of left-wing crank state reps, Daniel Biss, state senator from the North Shore, 48th Ward Committee woman Carol Ronan moderated the event, State Representative Robin Gable, communist from Evanston, State Representative Laura Fine, socialist from Glenview, lobbyist, hack, Cook County Board Commissioner Larry Suffredin.
You mean Larry Suffredin? Wait.
Larry Suffredin.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said Hillary. Maybe I'm having Hillary on the brain.
I don't think
They're
I did.
Praying for Hillary.
Here's what Biss, State Senator Dan Biss, who ran this $10 million super PAC that targeted Ronner and Republicans in the general election. You'll remember all those Ronner vote against Ronner Republicans. Yeah, this was all Daniel Biss's super PAC.
Okay, what?
He's a little North Shore dandy who comes from money. That's what he is.
Okay, I like it.
Listen to what little dandy Dan Biss said.
Isn't he swell?
This is recalling election night. It's very traumatic. At about 3 a.m, I went upstairs to my children's bedroom, and I looked at Theodore's peaceful, sleeping 6-year-old face, and Elliot's peaceful, sleeping 8-year-old face, and I asked myself, what are we going to do? And I started to sob. And let me tell you something with respect to State Senator Dan Biss and 6-year-old Theodore and 8-year-old Elliot. I, too, weep for them, for they lack a man in the house.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
By the way, Amy, Creamy Bob, the convicted felon husband of Calamity Jan Schakowsky, was in attendance at this Unitarian church in Evanston on Sunday. And if you want the details of this Primal Screamin' with all these cry bullies. You can check it out at Breitbart.com. Jasmine Hauser is the author of the piece. She was in attendance. And also, you want to check out upstream-ideas.com. At upstream-ideas.com, we have long-form content with some of the individuals you routinely hear on this show. Great thinkers like Colonel Alan West and Sebastian Gorka and Michelle Malkin and KT McFarland and Steve Moore, as well as Man on the Street content with our Follow the Logic segments, commentaries, podcasts of interviews from this show, podcasts of our Illinois Rising show on Sundays, which focuses on state and local politics. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we're going to talk to Faisal Khan, the former legislative inspector general of the Chicago City Council, about a new investigation he's done into one habitual drunk alderman, Brendan Riley. That's at 8:38.
And later, Dennis Rodman making news again. We'll tell you why. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
34 degrees. Donald Trump apparently won't make good on a campaign pledge to investigate Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server as Secretary of State. Trump's former campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, suggesting to MSNBC this morning the president-elect doesn't wish to pursue charges against Clinton or the Clinton Foundation. Meantime, the president-elect is holding more meetings and debating who should be part of his administration today. One meeting that will not be taking place is a previously planned sit-down with the New York Times. The NTSB launching an investigation into yesterday's deadly school bus crash in Chattanooga, Tennessee. NTSB Chairman Christopher Hart.
We know that memories, for example, are very perishable. We want to get that as quickly as possible. We also need to dig very deep into the way that the company operates, the driver's history, the bus itself.
The incident claimed the lives of 5 elementary school students. Woodmore Elementary School will be open today, but there will be counselors on hand. Former Chicago Alderman Ed Verdoliak is scheduled to be arraigned today in federal court on charges of impeding the IRS and income tax evasion. Prosecutors claim he worked out a secret deal with other attorneys to collect as much as $65 million from a massive tobacco settlement without doing any work on the case. One man is dead, 3 others hurt following a stabbing in Chicago's Chinatown neighborhood. 2 of the men were found wounded last night near the area of 23rd and Wentworth. Edmonton beat the Blackhawks 5-0. College hoops, Winthrop upsets the Fighting Illini in overtime, 84-80. Northwestern beat Texas. The news service of Staples. Staples has low prices on technology for your business. Right now, buy any PC at Staples and get free tech support for 30 days. They will help you set up your new PC so you don't lose critical files and help you connect to your network and your printer. Staples, make more happen. 8:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher explains why some people voted for Trump.
I don't want to gloat because it's not, I don't want to hurt people. You know, I'm taking a cue from Donald Trump. You know what he said about Bill and Hillary Clinton? He said, I don't want to hurt them, but she did some pretty bad things. The compassion that he has for people really did shine through. Trump haters don't want to admit that.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're looking to relieve symptoms or support your well-being, head to Walgreens for brands you need like Advil, Centrum, Emergency, and Nexium 24-Hour and take your health in your own hands. It's your wellness. Own it.
Have you put off seeing the dentist because you can't afford to go? Are big dental bills taking a big toll on your wallet? Would you like to have dental insurance but think it's too expensive? If you answered yes to any of these questions, call Physicians Mutual Insurance Company for a free information kit. See how you can help protect your teeth and your wallet for less than $1 a day. 1-800-900-9385. This is real dental insurance that can help cover over 350 procedures, all the ones you're most likely to need. Everything from cleanings and fillings to crowns and dentures. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. You can see any dentist you choose, and you'll never pay a deductible. Call in the next 10 minutes, and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-900-9385. 1-800-900-9385. That's 1-800-900-9385. 1-800-900-9385.
It is 8:35. Let's get an update on the roads. In our AM 560 traffic center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the westbound Chicago Skyway, it's slow from around 92nd and Anthony to the Toll Plaza, where he reports only one lane is open. LaGrange, Ogden Avenue still closed. LaGrange Road to Burlington due to a gas leak in the area. Adams Tollway eastbound, it's slow from Bussey to the Des Plaines Oasis. Westbound, it's a complete mess from the Devon Toll Plaza to Bussey, where there's road work in the right lane. Northbound Tri-State, still slow Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. Eastbound Adams Tollway heavy Eola to Washington after a crash. Delays on 8094 westbound Kennedy Avenue to Torrance. Eden's just 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 19 to Kennedy. 46 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 22. The Eisenhower is 1 hour. Thorndale to the post office outbound 32 minutes. Stevenson 42 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. And Ryan 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Considerable cloudiness today, high 45, a little rain through the overnight, low 34. Currently 33 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Listen to Freedom any time of any day. Go to walshfreedom.com/podcast. Freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So when I sat down with Faisal Khan, a former legislative inspector general for Chicago City Council, a couple months back, talking about his time as the legislative IG in City Hall, he suggested to me that there's a lot of information he was going to continue following up and investigating in his new capacity with this nonprofit play, Project 6, and said there are incumbent aldermen, who he has referred some of the work he did to authorities, and there are aldermen he thinks that are going to ultimately wind up on the wrong side of the bars, which is nothing new in Chicago, but,
Oh, does he have a list of aldermen he'd like to share with us this morning, Dan?
Well, I mean, it's nothing new, but it doesn't mean it's a bad thing with the systemic corruption in the city of Chicago, the political culture here. And so Project 6 released a little bit of a investigative report on one alderman, Brendan Riley, who's my alderman. Why is Brendan Riley more important than some aldermen? Not just because he's my alderman, it's because it's the River North, Streeterville area. It's the wealthiest ward in the city, generates about 60% of the city's revenue. It's where all the restaurants and big land developers are. Not all, but it's the kind of epicenter of commercial activity in the city of Chicago.
But isn't he also too vice mayor? If something happens to Mayor Emanuel, he takes over.
Well, it's just it's a title. It's not. It's a title. There's no formal powers associated with it. Well, he does. He likes his title, and he likes to get his drink on at Boss Bar. But I'll tell you what, after this report, that 2 to 12 midnight happy hour he has at Boss Bar every day, Faisal Khan, I don't think is going to be invited. So let's dig into what Faisal Khan and his investigators found by having Faisal join us. Faisal, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Morning, Dan. Morning, Amy.
So the crux of this is that Brendan Riley has a registered lobbyist as his effective chief of staff, while this registered lobbyist named Madeline Hill or Madeline Deering represents some of the largest real estate developers in the city. That seems to me that the centerpiece of this, but why don't you provide a little bit more context and detail?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. His chief of staff is a woman named Madeline Doring. Ms. Doring was his chief of staff in the 2000s. She left city service for a little bit, went into the private sector to a public relations firm, and then came back to Alderman Riley again to serve as his chief of staff. Now, technically, she's not on city payroll. She's on his political payroll, where she's listed as a staff member and takes in about $10,000 a month. There's a benefit to that. There's a reason that you do that is because you can't be a lobbyist and a city employee. Ms. Doring, after coming back to work for Alderman Riley, re-registered as a lobbyist for, like you noted, Dan, two of the biggest development firms in the city, M. Fishman Co. and Wirtz Realty. Wirtz, obviously, have to do with the Cubs and the Hawks. And you also noted that Alderman Riley is in one of the most expensive money-raising wards in the city. That's where the development happens in the heart of downtown. So here you have a registered lobbyist who knows she's working as a chief of staff to the alderman and re-registers as a lobbyist and still has the ability to whisper in the alderman's ear when he decides what projects go forward and what projects do not go forward. And so that's an inherent conflict of interest. And there's a rule that's designed exactly for that reason, because you do not want a lobbyist whose interests are different from those of the taxpayers to be able to influence your elected officials.
Well, and just to play this out, and just to make this more tangible, so Riley's a member of the City Council Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, Building Standards, which nearly all development projects in Chicago have to go through. So if you have your effective chief of staff representing these real estate developers, while she's also representing the aldermanic office and his position on this committee that's so important to real estate developers, then she's on both sides of the deal, and so is he.
Hey, well, that's exactly it, and we proved that. We've FOIA'd a bunch of emails. We show that Ms. Doring has had contact with numerous developers. She's simultaneously advocated for Alderman Riley in his decision-making process. So there's just a clear inherent conflict of interest. Now, Alderman Riley may argue, well, she's technically not a city employee, but that's okay. But that's certainly still violating the spirit of the law, and just by finding a loophole and putting her in it. The idea is simply that you do not want someone trying to tamper with your elected official when making these huge decisions about what buildings should or should not go up, what kind of money is being handed out and spread out. And yet this is a situation that we have, and Ms. Doring herself has said that's exactly what's going on.
Well, Faisal, are there other aldermen that are in the same situation?
We're looking into that currently too, Amy, but this one was so glaring because of the prominence of Alderman Riley that's where we started. We received information of Project 6, and you can see our report on our website at thesecret6.com or Facebook/Secret6, where we break it down exactly how potentially problematic this one is. The point that I think you're making, and that's incredibly important, is that aldermen do seem to be able to do whatever they want. And they've been able to do whatever they want in this city without any real ramification for a long time.
Except
Riley's been able to hire whoever he wants, and so have others.
Well, and the interesting thing, right, except for the less skilled thieves who take $500 bribes in envelopes, and that's easy to convict them, but more complicated schemes that kind of violate the spirit and do an end run around the ethics laws and other laws, frankly. You're right; they seem to get away with them. Now, one of the other issues here too with Madeline Doring, this chief of staff, effectively to Brendan Riley, is she fundraising on his behalf too, with respect to her clients on the lobbying side, or with respect to developers and other applicants that have to move through Brendan Riley's committee?
Yeah, that's a great point. And the thing is that since she's not a chief of staff on the books, she doesn't have to disclose a lot of information. So we really don't know what's going on because the system works on an honor system basis. So this is only dependent upon what they report and what we can FOIA. So that limits, obviously, the information that we can get out of it. And let me clarify one other thing, Dan. While I say she's violating the spirit of the law in this particular area, she's breaking rules in other areas. There are direct examples in our report that you'll see that Alderman Riley voted on Fishman and Wirtz applications and deals in front of City Council, which would be a direct conflict of interest for him. So in many ways, they're bending the law. In many ways, they're breaking the law.
So and I just want to be specific. This is kind of not breaking administrative rules. This is you're suggesting, and you've got a bunch of examples. This is a violation of city ordinance. It's a violation of the law.
Yes, absolutely no question about that.
So what can happen to Alderman?
Well, theoretically, we've already what could happen to him, it'll be a decision that will have to be made by the Board of Ethics. We forwarded our report to them. We forwarded our report to the Inspector General's office. In fact, they'll have to review this and determine what exactly should be done here. We're hoping, obviously, action should be taken.
You're a former prosecutor, and you worked in similar capacities in New York before coming to Chicago. With the investigation that you've done so far, the information that you've culled together so far, is there the potential of a criminal prosecution here? I mean, is there criminal wrongdoing here potentially?
Potentially, yes, depending on the kind of deals that have been made that we still don't know about. Look, like you noted, Dan, there's fundraising that's involved. There's sometimes financial transactions involved. We don't have that information yet. But this is the gray area we get into, and a very dangerous area when you do have a lobbyist working directly for an elected official who also has the ability to control developers and what's going in a ward. And so it's always in developers' interest to kind of stay on the good side of the alderman because he or she may be getting a fantastic deal.
And has Alderman Riley responded to this report?
Not that I'm aware of. Ms. Doring gave a statement to the Daily Line where she said she believed her position was unique but not wrong.
Could they
right, of course.
Could they say that your reporting or that this Project 6 is biased in any way? That you're just trying to peg aldermen?
Yeah, no, Amy, we've taken a lot of different accusations, but it's funny because they're never actually ever about the substance of the report. And so I'll be happy to discuss with anyone where we've gone wrong in our report, what information we missed, what we didn't cover, or how we made a mistake, or how someone feels like we targeted any particular one. But the conversation never really ends up being about that, and that's pretty much the Chicago way, right? Mm-hmm. Chicago way is always attack the messenger instead of actually talking about what's going on. So when I hear stuff like that, I just laugh it off.
Well, right, it's the lawyer trick. If the facts aren't with you, attack your opponent. All right, he is Faisal Khan. He's the CEO of Project 6, former legislative inspector general of the city of Chicago, of the Chicago City Council. Excuse me. The report we're referencing can be found at thesecret6.com. This is on Alderman Riley and his chief of staff. And also for a long-form interview that gives a lot more detailed background on Mr. Khan and both in terms of his work in New York and Chicago up to present, go to upstream-ideas.com where we did an Against the Current and spent about 45 minutes chatting about these and many other issues. Faisal, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
And Faisal Khan joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, Dennis Rodman making news, but not for his relationship with Kim Jong-un. This is something else. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Or no, let's not do that. Let's take the weather forecast. Today's considerable cloudiness, a high of 45 degrees, 33 degrees right now at O'Hare. Tonight, periods of rain, and then tomorrow, some patchy fog with on and on off again rain and some drizzle, a high of 45 degrees. How are those roadways shaping up? Very busy man this morning. Here's Jim Delamonte.
Thanks, Amy. On the inbound Kennedy, delays start at Lawrence, 48 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 37 from Montrose, 32 in the Express. Outbound getting heavy now with a crash at Addison in the 3 left lanes, 30 minutes and rising downtown to O'Hare. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 19, the Eisenhower, 58 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Outbound just 30. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's clear outbound. Bryan, 28 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tri-State northbound heavy at 290. Adams Tollway. Delays are westbound. Really a mess from the Devon Toll to Bussy, where there's road work in the right lane. Eastbound Reagan Tollway slow approaching Washington after an earlier crash. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
You've always wanted to be your own boss and in complete control of your future. No more glass ceiling, no more being overlooked for that promotion you deserved. There's never been a better time to take that first step. Your first step begins at franchisebuyersguide.info. Put your talent, your skills, your drive, and your determination to work for you and only you. Franchise opportunities include brick and mortar, home-based, product-based, service-based, B2B, and B2C. Unleash the entrepreneur in you. Learn more at franchisebuyersguide.info. That's franchisebuyersguide.info.
As 2016 starts to wind down, it's time to take a good hard look at how your building and offices have been maintained. At Image One, we're aware that everyone has a cleaning service and many are happy. But you should have a backup plan. So when something happens, and it will happen, you're ready. Let Image One be your backup plan. Image One is Chicagoland's choice for custom office and building cleaning needs. Connect with Image One online at imageoneusa.com or call 800-223-1985.
If you're an IT services pro or you just manage IT in your organization, you know how important data storage is. Hiding a server in the back closet next to the coffee filters? Well, you don't have to be running for president to know that's a dumb idea. Today, you need data storage solutions that are safe, secure, and ready for anything, run by professionals who care about you and your business. New Continuum Data Center is a cutting-edge West Chicago colocation facility that's 80,000 square feet of cooled and connected awesome. But don't think of us as a data center. Think of us as the people inside the data center. Talented pros who are monitoring your servers 24/7. We're here to customize solutions, answer questions, carry out tasks to your exact specifications, or just get out of the way while you work in our comfortable, secure, state-of-the-art facility. Whether you need a single rack, a secure cage, or a private suite, or just aren't sure, let's talk about designing the right solution for you. Visit newcontinuum.net/radio today and get up to 3 free months of service just for taking a tour. Some conditions apply. That's newcontinuum.net/radio, or call 1-800-432-COLO and mention this radio ad.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, no.
He is
Oh, no.
going the wrong way. Dennis Rodman, former diplomat. You know him mainly as a former diplomat.
Yeah.
Shuttle diplomacy with North Korea, Kim Jong-il, and Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un. And the last...
Okay, El D'Amato. That's so racist.
Kim Jong-un. And his dad was Kim Jong-il.
Kim Jong.
Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong. Okay, seriously.
Keep doing it. Why don't you do no ticking, no laundry while you're at it, racist?
Stop it. Here's Dennis Rodman the last time. And remember, we had an exhibition game. He brought some of his buddies over to North Korea to play a game. And he got a little emotional.
Let me do this. Really, I'm going to tell you one thing. People around the world, I'm going to do one thing. You guys behind the mic right now, we are the guys here doing one thing. We have to go back to America and take the abuse. Do you have to take the abuse? Well, we're going to take it. Do you, sir? Let me know. Are you going to take that abuse? We're going to get it. But guess what, though?
Dennis Rodman also reportedly up for Secretary of State. Obviously, you can understand why from that incoherent rant about nothing. What the hell is he talking about? That was worse than that Seth Rogen, James Franco movie.
The premise of his argument there, Dan,
please,
I can't translate
please give it
that.
to me.
He was upset that people were frowning upon his friends that he brought over to North Korea to play in this exhibition basketball game. So he was taking it personal that people were ripping on his friends.
Was he wearing a wedding dress at the time?
No, but he did have a feather bow on.
The reason we bring up Dennis Rodman is he's in the news again. He'd been charged with hit and run for a wrong-way-related crash on a Southern California freeway. Orange County prosecutors filed misdemeanor charges against Rodman. That's nothing new. Prosecutors say that his SUV was traveling north in a southbound carpool lane at about 12:30 in the a.m., forcing a sedan to swerve into a dividing wall to avoid collision. Now, Rodman's attorney, who I believe is also the attorney for Kim Jong-un,
who's been a very busy man, his attorney is,
says the incident of Mr. Rodman traveling north in a southbound carpool lane is the result of poorly signed exit ramp.
Oh, there you go.
Sure. I mean, who hasn't accidentally driven against traffic on the freeway? So Rodman is also charged with, other related offenses, including giving
false verbal accounts.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I mean, to the extent you can discern any account he's given. And
don't you think at this point in time he should have a driver? Maybe.
I think he should.
Hey!
What's going on?
Joker wants to race.
Ace, that's ridiculous.
All right, come on. Let's go. Let's go.
Put your window down! He wants them.
He's probably drunk.
This is how it actually went down.
What? You're going the wrong way! He said we're going the wrong way.
Oh, he's drunk. How would he know where we're going?
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When you have sleep apnea, traveling can be a real drag because you have to drag your big, bulky home CPAP device with you everywhere you go. But not anymore. Now you can travel easily and sleep comfortably anywhere thanks to Transcend, the world's very first mini CPAP. And right now, if you're one of the first 100 callers, you can try Transcend risk-free for 10 restful nights. So call now, 1-800-600